Yes, it'd be something to that effect. So
Yeah.
I think I got it working. I can see I am recording us. I can hear us. How do I sound on your end? You sound great on my end.
You're good. You're
All
good.
right. So
Plus, like, I say way too many vulgar things that could come back and bite me for me to like advertise this on my own stuff. Like,
yeah, I thought about that too. I'm like, do I actually like want to have family watch this? Do I want to get more people into this? Do I actually want to promote it? I'm like trying to think of the things we've talked about in the past. I'm like, I don't know
oh,
if I
I said some
censored.
gruesome.
Yeah, I didn't censor myself enough to want to promote myself very much.
Exactly.
So
Like that one me you and John had, like talking about Hollywood and like the recasting of certain people. Like,
oh yeah.
yeah, like that would not go over well. Like
Was it about John's
that.
people?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Redheads.
Yes.
Um,
Are you not a redhead?
no, that's pretty
Brown?
brown. I got like a reddish beard.
Reddish beard, but your hair is brown.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to call it strawberry blonde beard.
Okay. Gotcha.
If anyone asks.
You know.
But yeah,
I
what was that?
I have no idea. Just asking.
Yeah, I don't really. I just look terrible without a beard now. Like, so
Really?
I have to. Yeah, I look like such a baby without it. It's ridiculous.
I kind of want to try the baby face again. It's been a little bit.
I mean, you can pull it off there and stuff.
But I can't grow anything. It's like I don't know. At least I guess I can kind of pull off a baby face, but
I could not grow a beard till I was like 26. Even then, it was like I just kept trying, kept growing, shave, let it go, shave it, like be ready to look bad for a while, and it eventually came through.
Yeah.
But what was I about to rant on?
You were about to start going off about jobs and hiring people, the dollar per hour for people.
People that, when we want people to come back to work, and now all of a sudden they're saying, well, we demand a living wage, which first off, I don't know what the hell a living wage is. Is it $100 an hour? Is it $25 an hour? Is it? I mean, we've been told 15 for so long, but now apparently that's not good enough because that's like 30 grand a year, and I can tell you that you probably can't actually live off 30 grand a year.
Well, yeah, because do you go based off the poverty line, or what's the standard of living you measure against? Yeah, how do you define that?
And like, if you look at Seattle, like where it's been $15 minimum wage for a long time, like they're showing the cost of goods has increased. Like,
oh, absolutely.
I have a colleague that went to go take a general manager job out at a hotel out there, and my buddy's like, yeah, she's making $110,000. I'm like, holy shit, like that's awesome. But then I looked at the cost of living compared to Minnesota, and like it's like she's making 60 grand in Minnesota.
Right. She's doing okay,
but you think about,
but
yeah, oh yeah, but the fact that 60 grand versus 110, like if I was making 110, I'd be happy. Like,
which area was this?
What?
Which area are we talking about for the 110?
Seattle.
In Seattle. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed that. I picked up my drink and I lost you.
It's just ridiculous. It's people want all this, like, oh, we demand this now to come back to work, and it's like, well, restaurants are paying people in the cities, like, not even downtown, just like in general, like $18, $19 an hour to come cook for them.
And I believe that because when I was down in Minneapolis talking to people about 5-6 years ago, they were ready to pay $15 an hour themselves, just with the way competition was at that time. Before anybody was trying to raise the minimum wage, is the actual minimum wage in Minneapolis now $15? Is that officially up there?
No, I think that's not till 2023. They kind of space out. I think it's like $12.25 now.
Okay, they're not there yet, but it's on its way. But it doesn't matter. I mean, that putting in the minimum wage, what is that actually doing? Like, as you're saying, the prices are already up there. I mean, we're already paying $18, $19 an hour. What's a $15 minimum wage really going to do for anyone?
Yeah, like nobody in any field outside of like very entry level stuff like serving or stuff where you get tips on top of it actually makes that kind of money. Like my industry, like no one goes into hotels to be rich. Let me tell you that for free. But like we've always been above minimum wage just to get better workers. Sure. So like the way I like to scope it out is like 5 years ago, when I moved back to the cities to take a front desk supervisor job at a little bit bigger hotel, ran decent money, Hilton managed, and I was making $14.50 an hour as a supervisor. And now you look at like that was a 180 something room hotel, that do good revenue. You look like these little like 110 rooms, 100-room hotels are paying like $17 an hour for a supervisor. It's like it's increased like since in 5 years. You know, like that job 5 years ago probably would have been a $12 an hour job, so it's probably gone up $5 in 5 years. But like
if you
when
think
people
about
get
that, that's
math,
huge. Like as a percentage,
oh yeah,
that's massive.
huge. Like
In that time frame, wow.
oh, minimum wage isn't reflecting inflation. Like that is accurate in some aspects.
But
like at the same time,
your
the
average
biggest
wage says otherwise.
oh yeah, and like I'll freaking die on this hill that minimum wage jobs aren't meant to be careers.
No, why would they be? I mean, there's no way you're making your top dollar when you start anything. Experience is where any value comes from. So if you want to make any more money, you need to be experienced and be valuable to someone. Like,
yeah,
the reason I can be in the position I am at this new company is because I have a track record, and I actually worked with the guy that ended up hiring me. So he was actually able to work under me, and he knows how I am. So he wanted me to come over. So it's like, it wasn't like luck or anything like that. Like it was you build skill, yes, and you and Papa John's, where I started, is not a job you just come in and you're the best.
No,
like that is a job where you have to gain the skill through hard fucking work and figure out how to make a fucking decent pizza, and it's not easy, and it takes a lot of dedication. So it's like, to move up in any job is like that. Every fucking job. It drives me insane. Like McDonald's, it doesn't matter what it is. I see those people in McDonald's, and I can't imagine just jumping in there, and it's busy as hell, and dealing with fucking customers, and people are fucking pissy. I picked up Chipotle today for dinner, and some guy was bitching about there was no fucking guac, and just mad as fucking hell and making a fucking scene. And I'm like, are you serious? Over guacamole?
yeah.
You're gonna treat these people like that over fucking guacamole? Like,
it's ridiculous how people treat.
How much are they making? And they got put up with that shit. God damn.
The lack of respect that customer service jobs out, like these minimum wage jobs, and I can understand why people don't want to work in this, because you're treated like shit by people.
Yeah.
Now, like, so we can't hire worth a damn, and we have to follow like all these Hilton rules and stuff. And like people are getting really mad over like, oh, I didn't get housekeeping today. Like, bro, I have like 4 housekeepers, and we have to get 80 rooms cleaned in like 5 hours. Like, right. You will get your service, but like,
you're not.
Don't. And then they come in like, you can yell at me all you want, because I've been doing this for 10 years, and I know how to handle like angry people. I don't really care if someone wants to get mad or upset with me. But if you're like new to the job and you just started and you're all excited, all of a sudden some fucking Karen comes down and starts screaming at you for something out of our control. Like, I can understand why you wouldn't want that.
Yeah. And that's why everyone's hiring. Everyone's looking for people. It's impossible.
Yeah, but like at the same time, what we were saying about minimum wage jobs, like me and my wife just had this conversation at dinner, actually, how I've talked to many different like recruiters and hiring managers from not every, but a lot of different like occupations and industries. And every one of them says like, we will definitely give anybody with, the proper experience, if you're for the job they're applying for, like if you have a customer service background, the skills that you acquire dealing with that translate to almost any other field. Like I'm sure if you're like an office accountant and you just sit there and don't talk to anyone every day, you probably don't need the customer service skills that you would acquire. But like almost any job out there, the ability to communicate with people and handle upset people, like, and just deal with shit as it happens, and like running stuff on the fly, like that's something that translates to everything damn near.
Oh yeah, well, building a nice resume is going to get your foot in the door. And it doesn't even have to be too glamorous. Yeah, food service jobs, like just putting something on there and showing that you were there for a decent amount of time shows that you're dedicated to something. And that really is what will get you in somewhere. Everybody's hiring now. There's no reason nobody can get a fucking job. I see now hiring everywhere.
Absolutely.
It's insane.
And Logan, here's the dirty trick that the government and the state are going to learn this eventually, is there are a lot of jobs out there and businesses that are displacing revenue because they can't keep up with the demand because they can't employ people. So the less money these companies make, on top of the lack of money that almost everyone made last year, what what's going to happen when the corporate taxes come due? It's going to be a lot smaller because people they're displacing revenue that they would have otherwise made and been taxed on that would have went to Uncle Sam, that now Uncle Sam's not getting. And when there's that major shortage of all this corporate tax money come in, what's going to happen? Are they going to realize that, oh, this is our fault for making unemployment so accessible? Or are they going to fucking go and jack up the tax rate?
Are you saying the government's going to admit they did something wrong?
No, I'm saying that they're going to deny they did something wrong and jack up all the tax rates so they get their money
that's
back.
What you're saying. Oh, of course.
But I don't. You think that eventually, even if they don't admit it, they're going to make changes on actions that's going to bring the money back. Like, there's been a lot of states out there that have said we're done with this extra unemployment BS, and people on unemployment was an issue before COVID when business was good. So it's just even more extreme now.
Oh, it's terrible. You can make, what is it? I mean, before COVID, you could make the equivalent of like $13, $14 an hour in benefits as far as what you can get through social programs and whatever through the government. And I can't imagine what it is right now. It's got to be closer to 20. So that's probably why it's hard to hire people even at $18 an hour, which is wild.
Well, I mean, say
a couple of years ago, that'd be really good fucking money.
I think like $400 a week. It was what they're getting. It's either $400 or $300. I think it went up to $400 when Biden pushed the last stimulus through. So like 400 divided by 40 is $10 an hour. So you're essentially making $10 an hour to do nothing. And then you add on top of that your unemployment, which probably comes out to what? Say even if it's another $400 a week. So you're right. That's $20 an hour. If you're getting $400 a week from unemployment and the $400 extra stimulus money, then you're making $20 an hour to sit on your ass at home.
Fucking wild, bro.
And like even Biden has come out and said like, hey, we need to do something about this. It's is he going to do anything? No.
But when Trump said for people to get back to work, that was like the worst thing ever. You want people to go out and die because COVID. I thought that was the response, but
that TikTok I showed the other day of Trump, everything like Trump said that he was right about, and it's like everyone's like just it pans over to like all the screens of everyone like yelling and like autistically screaming. Like,
yep.
Logan, what do you know?
A lot of this stuff is aged like fine wine. But yeah, Logan, what's up, bro? How have you been?
Good. Just got some chicken cooking in the oven.
Hell yeah.
That's not red meat.
I know. I had beef yesterday. Or no, 2 days ago.
2 days without beef?
2 days ago.
I had chicken yesterday and chicken again today.
Your lats are looking a little flat, bro.
It's still meat, man. I still got that meat.
Your lats are looking real flat.
Protein, regardless.
Are you just saving your red meat for when Biden takes it away?
Over my dead body.
Come and take it.
Yeah, come and take it.
Oh wait, I gotta get beef for the company I run.
You know they want us to eat bugs, right?
Oh yeah,
the cicadas.
Have you seen that?
I'm not doing that. That's a bunch of bullshit.
Have you seen that though? That's like the next thing they're gonna try to make us eat bugs.
I mean, people have been doing it for thousands of years,
right?
But we're
because the government says because the government says so. Now you don't want to.
More like my stomach is not going to agree with that. I can already tell you.
They want us to live in pods. Too.
I will give up my guns.
I will not live in the pod. I will give up and not eat the bugs.
Here's the thing.
It's a free elf.
Here's the thing, boys. I'll give up my guns before I give up my red meat.
Really? How are you going to get red meat if you don't have guns, though?
You have to keep your guns to protect your red meat.
Yeah,
that's what I'm just saying.
Protect it and get more.
If we're talking priorities, that's it right there.
Yeah. Right.
What were you saying about trying to buy beef at work? Let me guess, it's super fucking expensive.
Dude, I was asking my rep that I have to order through, because like Cisco, who I order from, only lets me go so far back, and the price of beef like only a month or so ago was like $2.15 through them. I just checked yesterday; it was $3.26 in a month. It jumped like over $1 something. Like that's an over like 30% jump in a month. And
that kind of might be Trump's fault.
That's inflation.
Fill me in. But no, it's
okay.
like,
So
But at the beginning of the year, I was buying it for like $1.70. I was even buying it for $1.50 at one point, like within the past 6-7 months. So like I've watched it just spike ever since the beginning of the year. I swear to God, that's as soon as it started. But tell me, how is it Trump's fault? Huh?
Okay, so I don't know about beef. I think it might be part of that, but like, so this lumber thing,
Yeah.
I don't know why they're not running. So Trump, most of the lumber in America comes from Canada, and if you remember our tariff talks before, that two things like the dairy tariffs from Canada and the lumber tariffs from Canada have always been super high.
Okay.
I think like the lumber tariff was at 40% for a long time under Trudeau from when he got in until Trump was in. Well, I can't remember what exactly it was. It's Trump really embarrassed Canada officials and like pissed them off.
I remember that.
But,
yes.
like, when he like called someone and said, "Oh, this person's landing on an airplane,"
yeah.
arrest them, and they didn't take them seriously, and they landed and like America's.
Well, they did take Trump seriously. And they arrested him,
Oh, yeah.
and it caused a big fucking issue between Canada and China because they ended up arresting like an official or somebody who worked with Huawei or something.
Yeah,
and
that's what it was.
Because Trump calls Canada, and he's like, "Hey, this person from China's they're gonna be landing over here. You know, ground their flight. Don't let them leave." And they did. And then China's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Why? What? Oh yeah. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, it definitely pissed everybody off.
I think with that and then the tariff war that was going on, I'm pretty sure the tariffs and the increase they super increased on Canada, like lumber from Canada coming down. I think it like majorly increased. So I would be willing to bet that now we're like a year later, so a year and a half later, next pause with COVID. Now we're seeing the increased demand and everything and being able to make more money from all that. I think that's one of the reasons why lumber is so incredibly high. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure that has a huge factor in it. Just the tariffs and all of the production.
I gotta go get my chicken. I'll be right back.
Yeah, sounds good, bro. I think that could definitely play a factor. Another thing that I know for sure, houses are going up like fucking mad.
That's true.
Like mad. I cannot believe how many houses are being built. That is kind of crazy. That's where all the lumber's going the guy that I work for has bought property in Florida now, and he was following it for a couple weeks, and every single day, or as often he was checking, the prices in that area were just going up because he was talking to contractors that are building the houses, and the prices are just going up. So he bought the property because he's like, fuck, they're selling like wildfire, because he stayed at like an Airbnb and it was really nice. He's like, damn, I want to get in on this. So he invested in a property down in Florida because he just sees it booming down there. And yeah, I'm amazed by, well, Florida itself is just doing really well. So, I mean, I guess that's Florida in general, but just hearing how many houses that guy's building, like massive houses, 7-bedroom homes over and over and over again. So I think that lumber prices would go up if that many houses are being built across the nation. And I think it is happening
there's
on a mass scale.
There's going to be multiple
factors,
like,
absolutely.
Yeah. But I do think that the lumber tariffs being incredibly high before and then Trump really pissing everyone off, I don't think that helped the situation.
No, it probably didn't help the situation. But, I mean, can't we just say, fuck Canada? Can we not?
Oh, 100%, of course.
Like, it's not like Canadians themselves, but what a joke of a fucking nation that is with the government, Trudeau. Oh my God, and that summit and the fucking elbows. Like, give me a break. What the fuck was that?
Did you see them like arrest that pastor in front of his kids?
No, but I've seen some of the other dumb shit.
Outside.
Because he what? He had church outside?
He held he held church, like a church service outside during a lockdown. So like they showed up to his house after they found out and they arrested him. Like in front of his family, like his kids like sitting there crying.
Okay. Yeah, and if anybody got mad that I said fuck Canada, here's example number 1 for you. If you got upset, like, what the like, I was ranting about this earlier with with one of my buddies. Free speech is like the biggest thing for me, especially right now. And I'm getting more fired up and wanting to express myself, make videos, get the voice out there, because that is what makes us unique. Amendment number 1, for sure. Other people cannot express themselves, like in Canada or anywhere, like Europe, China, fucking especially, like we can here. And I think that's beautiful. And if you ever try to come after Amendment number 1, I will meet you with Amendment number 2. So I say fuck Canada, and I'm so pro USA. God damn it, it's insane. Like,
who you turned into?
I
like 2014 Ryan would kick your ass.
Oh, I
right
know.
now.
Oh, I know. This conversation even came up today as well. I used to be a social justice warrior. I was. It's like the friend brought up to me, he's like, I remember when you got mad at me because I called somebody retarded or something like that. I'm like, yeah, I probably did, but I don't care anymore. Whatever, free speech, bro. Whatever. Like, it's just, I know somewhere in there I was a social justice warrior, and I don't know what happened, but I got bit by something. I somewhere along the way, freedom just.
You grew up.
I think that is a part of it too. Yeah,
Trump
Trump
got into office.
No. I mean, it was happening before that. I mean, but I didn't like Trump. Honestly, I did not. I want to make sure that's clear and out there. Like, the Hillary-Trump election, I was not excited. I'm like, this is bullshit. This is the worst corporatist election I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. I'm like, if Trump wins, I can't imagine the shit the guy's going to fucking do and how filthy rich he's going to get and yada yada. I'm like, just going to sit back and then, it's all. But it didn't play out like at all how I expected. And I think I was just basically proven wrong. And that's why I'm more of a supporter, you could say, than somebody that's against it. But it's just the truth that matters to me at the end of the day. And when people are going on about all these lies, like, oh, injecting bleach, it's like, my God, like, he didn't say half the shit you fucking people believe. It's insane.
No, and other countries are laughing at us. I watched this thing from like England, and they like showed how differently they handled like Biden versus Trump and like Melania versus Jill, and like how like the ridiculous extremes are. And like if other countries are pointing this out, like England, and laughing at us about that, like that's embarrassing.
Yeah, I'd say.
Because, like,
I did think about that. Like, I'm thinking about so much today, man. It's a deep thought day, but what do other countries, like, think of us? I would love to just go talk to somebody in a different country if I could. Like, we both speak pretty good English, and because I'm not going to learn their language, of course, but if they know English, I'll talk to them. But I would just love to see what is their view of America, because I don't know, man. We're stuck in here. I know they don't. Absolutely. I think a lot of us are fucking stupid. I would never claim to be smart either. I mean, I'm from America.
No, I think
bro.
Okay, first off, like American exceptionalism. I always talk about that, like, especially in regards to like the healthcare, and why do so many people like? Yeah, okay, there are your Oxfords out there. Like, there are some really good colleges and universities and other parts of the country, don't get me wrong, that will rival anything here. And even like our Ivy League schools are super progressive now and kind of a joke. But like at the end of the day, why do so many people come to America to become doctors? Why do so many people from, and I'm not just talking like countries, that are less fortunate than us, like over in Eastern Africa. I'm talking like, Korea, South Korea, China, Vietnam, Thailand, like a lot of Asian, European countries too. Like, why do people come over here for our university system, especially with how freaking expensive it is and how flawed it is? And people are still choosing of all the places in the world to go outside of, like I said, Oxford. If you're a Rhodes Scholar, why are people choosing to come here? What is, as flawed as our system is, and like, Americans are so stupid, yet people are still flocking in drones to come use our education system.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even on top of that, take the brainwashing of this, all that stuff out. Like, our public education system is terrible as it is. It's probably still top something in the world.
Oh, yeah. Dude, this is the greatest country on the fucking planet. Absolutely.
And
nobody's better.
We are,
without a doubt.
We are a superpower. Like to this day.
Oh yeah.
It's like I said. That's once again. I'll
China
go to the
wants
grave
that.
on this. Yeah, I'll go to the grave on this again, saying that the American dollar will never fail, no matter what inflation is, because it is like you can say, oh, look at Venezuela, look at this country.
Yeah.
None of those are as powerful in the economy, in everything as America, or as involved as America. That's why it's failing. That's why our inflation keeps raising, our dollar keeps losing value, but it'll never crash because we aren't too important to the economic ecosystem of the world for anything to ever happen. And as much as I hate to say it because it's a terrible organization, the Federal Reserve is doing exactly what it's there for in protecting everything from crashing. If the Federal Reserve, I hate it as much as the next person, if not more. But the Federal Reserve was not there, and this COVID thing hit with our going from a bear market to a bull market so fast, everything would have gone to hell. And the Federal Reserve backed the dollar, and it always will. And that is more proof of this American exceptionalism.
You son of a bitch, you fucking went there.
I had to.
Oh my god.
It's just further proof. Because we're such a great country. Because here's the thing, if our dollar goes to shit, we still have who's going to be impacted? Us everyday people, not our government. We're still going to have one of the most powerful militaries in the world. We're still going to be so involved and intertwined with every other country out there. If our dollar explodes like you think it will, what of our superpower are we going to lose? We're going to drive the entire world into a fucking depression if that happens.
Fair enough. That's a fair argument. But fuck the Federal Reserve. How can you say that? Are you saying?
No, I get it. I hate myself.
1913 is responsible for American exceptionalism. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying that it's part of the reason why the dollar won't explode. I'm not saying that the Federal Reserve
will never
is part of American exceptionalism. I'm not saying that it's part of American exceptionalism. I'm just saying that it did its intended purpose of backing the dollar. I'm just saying that America is so freaking such a world superpower that if America ceased to exist overnight, if Thanos snapped their fingers and we all floated into dust and we were just a chunk of land, the entire world would go to shit. China, Russia, all of Europe. Well, there might be some third world countries out there that aren't as impacted, but the world would go to hell.
You got me thinking now. Okay. So, what if then crypto is a way to move people off the US dollar? Because China is definitely the biggest one wanting to play the crypto game. And if anything, they are going to be the first one on the global scale. If it's not going to be Bitcoin, or they will be the first country to have their digital currency. I know there's a U.S. digital currency, but I don't think that's recognized by the official government itself. Like, there's a U.S. dollar coin. Like, do you know what I'm talking about? Like, you can get it in Coinbase or whatever.
There are people out there who still don't know how to use the internet. No, so I agree that it could happen. Do you know how long of process it would take to convert that?
25
it could
years.
Eventually happen. If not, 50?
25? No, fuck no. It's not going to be 50 years. There's no way.
But still, think about, let's just use a metric here. Let's say it takes 30 years. Let's say it takes 30 years.
That's too long. It won't take that long. But yes, it takes 30. I'll entertain
use it as a metric. From when you were born until now and how much the world has changed and evolved.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine switching over a form of currency? And like, even if it took 20, just think of like the span of your entire life in its entirety. How long that took from the day you were born until now. Like,
yeah, that could easily happen. That could easily happen.
You look at everything that's happened in the world since then, and like tragedies and whatnot. And so if they do convert and it takes that long, then
Bitcoin is worth $1 trillion in like what, 15 years? As like the first one. Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know how long it's been around exactly.
I'm all for crypto,
but
I am all for crypto.
Well, now you're making me skeptical. Because what if that's the perfect way to collapse the U.S. dollar, by introducing something that ultimately has infinite supply that everybody could have access to and is as widespread? Because the
How is
U.S.
that different
dollars.
than the American dollar?
No, that's what I'm
How's that
saying.
different?
No, it's
How's it different?
It's the actual competition to the dollar as the dollar collapses, because the dollar is not doing too hot. Doesn't matter if the Federal Reserve can print money endlessly.
The government's not going to let that happen, though.
But no, what if our economy actually collapses here and we're not doing too hot? Because that could totally happen if nobody's willing to work. Nobody actually. It's one thing if jobs are available, but if nobody's working them, then what?
But I'm saying the government would ban cryptocurrency before they would let it replace the U.S. dollar.
That's such a dangerous precedent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They would, and yeah, exactly. That is dangerous, and that's not going to do anything on the global scale. Like, yeah, it wouldn't happen in the U.S., but I don't know. These are crazy.
See, I don't think it would ever fully. I don't think it would ever fully replace the dollar. I think it would just be an alternative source. You know, it would be an alternative source. I don't think you'll ever replace the dollar.
It'll just be another currency.
Yeah. What would necessarily? So, like I said before, you know, what the Federal Reserve would essentially backs the dollar and keeps it strong. What would, out of curiosity, what do you think would back the crypto? What are you using for that?
Well, the dollar's backed by what? That it's
the Federal Reserve
printed.
The Federal Reserve will keep the dollar from failing. What'll keep if the world goes to hell?
How does a dollar not fail?
It hasn't failed yet.
Just by having
much
value.
As it should have.
It doesn't fail because it has value, right?
The value is a perceived value, but yes.
Right. But, I mean, crypto has perceived value through it being decentralized. I mean, that alone is what has given it all of its value right now, I think. And there's so many uses, it can be integrated in so many different ways that I don't think people understand because they don't understand technology very well. It can do so much more. It's like it's also a form of currency, and it's also a new way of even interacting with people, and it could be a whole new way of even running businesses. So it's something that would become ingrained in society the same way the U.S. dollar almost is, because it would become a part of business itself. So as long as these businesses are running, what do you mean all it is? Tell me, what is all crypto is from Mr. Feldman?
All it is just 2021 geocaching is essentially all it is.
No, it's not.
Yep, that's 100% what it is.
2021 geocaching.
Yes, you heard it from this face. It'll fade. It'll never be a thing. I'm Paul Kruger. I'm fucking with you. I'm just trying to piss you off at this point. No, I do understand the value that crypto has. I don't even know what you mean
right now.
I think I was joking. I was just trying to piss you off.
It's not hard to do.
Here's the scarier thought for the elites, though, is what if a certain form of crypto, and I'll get to the second point there I just thought of, but what if crypto becomes more of an overall global currency? Bitcoin is, so you don't have pesos, you don't have loonies and toonies, you don't have I can't remember the pounds. Everybody uses Bitcoin. You're on the same exact system. You have to think for the elites of the world. I'm not talking I'm talking the super rich, the people, the Illuminati, the people that run the world,
the people who fuck children on islands.
Yes, essentially. You have to think that's a terrifying thought for them. If you can unite the entire world on a singular form of currency. But also the interesting thing to me about currency or about crypto is the competition.
Ready for that, damn it.
No, please. I would like to hear your thoughts on that before I jump into my second point on crypto.
All right. So you're saying crypto could actually be not crypto, but Bitcoin is the currency?
Yeah, there could be one global currency, whether it's something new that's created or even something as simple as just already using Bitcoin, for example, something that's already there. Let's take Dogecoin to the moon.
My initial thought is that sounds like socialism.
Okay.
But after that, I mean, I can see how it would scare the elites because, that's what you're saying, right? They'd have no control.
Yeah. Yes.
Because of the blockchain.
Because it would all be one centralized currency.
I mean,
if that fails in Venezuela, for example, like the Venezuelan dollar did with one country's inflation, in their dollar's worth more as toilet paper than it is as actual currency now. Then let's say you have this centralized global currency. If that happened in one country with inflation, how would that impact the rest of the world? In something small like Venezuela or Chile or something with a lower population, it might not have a global impact. But like if you took like Brazil, for example, say their inflation went so high, and with their population, if everyone's using the same currency there, is that going to trickle over and affect the cost of the currency in America or Europe or Russia? You know what I mean? Like, right. If the inflation's super high in one country, how's that going to impact the rest of the world if everyone's on the same global currency?
How would the value of Bitcoin fluctuate on a global scale if it's accepted everywhere?
Would it be impossible for a country's inflation to rise so high, like Venezuela, if it's using a global currency that's backed by the entire globe post? Would it be impossible for that to fail then? Maybe. I think that it'd be more impossible for that country the currency to fail in that country than that country would to fail and jack the cost or the inflation up and hyperinflation to impact the coin.
I really like where you're going, because as I'm thinking about it, I can just see stability for countries, because I think the whole reason like Venezuela collapsed, it was purely because of socialism. Seizing companies, seizing the means of production, all that bullshit. It's exactly why they fucking collapsed. What?
Ryan, that wasn't real socialism.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Fuck it. But that is Ewald, if you're ever listening to these, my fucking God, man, I'd love to sit down and chat with you and just completely pull you out of your fucking hippie world and just help you see the light. But anyways, because I just feel like he's totally wrong. And
sure. But okay, so say a socialist country had hyperinflation and they all use the same currency as China. The dollar
collapses and the country falls apart. I think that you would have stability. Sorry, China.
And you think that it'd be it's fine, but you think it'd be impossible for, since it's all the same dollar, the same value that your Bitcoin, your Dogecoin has in, Taiwan is the same value that we have here in America, and Taiwan goes to hell with hyperinflation. Yeah. The money's okay, but then let's say something like that happened in China or Brazil or the United States, one of these hugely populated countries. That would definitely have an impact on the overall currency in the entire world. And would regulations be put into place to prevent that from happening? As much as we hate regulations, would we enjoy any regulations that would prevent inflation?
Inflation is going to happen regardless, but I think that there would be a lot of self-regulation in the way that Bitcoin operates in itself. I think it's honest money, and a lot of the issues that people run into with governments is that you don't have honest money. They lie and cheat with money, and then it becomes worthless. So I always just pictured it being a big thing that became widely acceptable, and it was something that worked with other global currencies that have been around forever.
So you're saying then, and by that logic, then you're saying that you think that a digital coin digital currency would replace the US dollar. By your logic of it working with it, how would it? So it would work to have two different forms of currency then.
Well, I do think it would work to have multiple forms of currency. Well, you had me thinking that maybe China was on some sort of thing to ultimately collapse the US dollar. They always play a long-term game. So what if there is a long-term collapse of the dollar game that they're playing, and they are using crypto as a means to do that, because then that would help them become the ultimate superpower in the world. That all of a sudden became like, holy shit, that might actually be a possibility in my mind. Based on what you were saying, I never really thought about that.
True.
Because we had no idea where Bitcoin even fucking came from. That's also something to think about.
And I don't know. I just don't know the impacts it would have. Look at America's financial system for a while, and up until part of the New Deal, of FDR's New Deal, up until Clinton repealed the Glass-Steagall Act, interstate banking wasn't allowed. Because it was it wasn't the fact, it was just some side effect. Because the Glass-Steagall Act, for people listening that might not be familiar, essentially took your commercial lending banks and your own Wells Fargo private bank and put a firewall between the two, saying that, no matter how bad commercial lending gets, how bad Wall Street gets. It will never affect the amount of money in your bank account. And then when Glass-Steagall was repealed, I know a big factor in that was the inability to have interstate banking. And like that was in what, 94 he repealed that? Like,
I'll be honest, this is something I know like zero about. So you're educating me right now. I'm gonna have to dive into that. So I don't know.
Like I said, essentially it was a firewall to make sure a Great Depression never happened again.
Sure.
Because obviously when the Great Depression happened and people were, what's it called when everyone goes and takes their money out of a bank, like rushing a bank or something like that. Like, and that, and like the Federal Reserve was so weak that that was another big factor in that. But people were going and taking all their money out of the banks, and the centralized banks were losing money when Wall Street crashed, and that's essentially what caused one of the major factors of the Depression. So with Glass-Steagall, yep.
Yeah.
So like Glass-Steagall putting the firewall between the two, so people wouldn't go and do that again, was like a very strong thing. And I can't remember exactly what the reason behind repealing it was, but like. I'm just saying, I think it's crazy that within 30 years ago, you weren't allowed to have interstate banking. You couldn't have a bank account and use a debit card from the First National Bank of North Dakota in Minnesota. Like,
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Which that's essentially one of the reasons why credit cards became so popular, because credit cards using a line of credit opposed to actual money in a bank account was able to skirt the red tape of interstate banking. And that's why they started becoming a thing. Besides, of course, the overall credit score, it's one of the factors.
That is fascinating. I feel like I have heard of,
I just have one. Go ahead.
No, you go. I'm just, my mind's just rolling.
You go ahead. I was going to say something different.
Oh, you could go off somewhere. I'm just fascinated by what he's bringing up. I didn't realize that was ever really a thing. So
yeah.
It definitely plays a factor into crypto and all that too. But what are you saying?
I was just going to say my one piece of advice to you guys, financial advice, is if you're going to buy life insurance, buy term. Do not buy permanent.
Buy term.
Yep, that's what I have.
Buy term insurance because permanent is so overpriced.
Yeah. Well, isn't term where, like, at the end of it, you have some sort of deal you can get if you make it there?
No. So term is a level death benefit for a level premium. So you just pay for, like, a finite amount of coverage.
Okay.
Permanent is where it builds a cash value.
Okay. Gotcha. I have a lady that I've been working with talking about life insurance, and she's explained it to me I don't know how many times, and I seriously, I do not get fucking insurance. That's life insurance, basically. I can understand other insurance, but life insurance, too confusing for me. I don't know why.
Okay, they might try to sell you permanent insurance, but don't buy it.
No, she has told me not to get that.
Okay, then she's good then.
She is legit.
Let's say we did switch over to a crypto. Think of all the money that people have invested over the years in stuff like life insurance, in stocks and bonds and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. If we did a full currency switch, how would that impact those? Would you be able to trade them out for, essentially trade out your value of your dollars in a bond for the same, whatever the coin is worth at that time?
Nope, you'd have to cash out first and then buy it because it's in the contract that's what it is.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if you took like on a huge countrywide macro scale, would they be able to? Yeah, I suppose if it's in the contract, because they'd get rich off that.
You'd have to change legislation or whatever it may be, the terms of the contract. That's not going to happen. Whether it's government bonds or whether it's stocks.
You would have to just cash out and then use the cash to buy into the other whatever you're trying to get. Like if it was Bitcoin, you'd just have to get your cash out and then buy an equivalent amount of Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's like if I had everything in Microsoft and I wanted to put it in Doge, I'd sell what I have in Microsoft and buy Doge.
Okay, but think of that on like a macro level, if the entire United States pulled all their money out of those things and put it in one, anytime you have that big of transfer of wealth, there's repercussions on everything. The stock market would, I don't even know.
Like stock market's a fucking number. Your portfolio won't look good for a bit.
That's so fascinating. Like to just think of like, I'm trying to like wrap my head around like the macro scales.
But stocks would still be attractive as an asset to hold though, because they have intrinsic value.
Is that what you're saying? You cut out for a second. Like your audio dropped out on my end.
Mine did?
Yeah, I didn't hear what you said right before that last bit.
Oh, I was just saying, so stocks will still be around because they will always be attractive to stocks.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, Feldman. That's a big fucking move, but the value's still there. Yeah, there's still value in all these things. You're just measuring. It's like you're measuring it. Like when you're buying crypto, you can either measure it against the U.S. dollar, or how much it's worth in Bitcoin, or how much is it worth in Ethereum. I mean, would that end up being how we just measure things? Is because you put all of your money into Bitcoin, it's just more secure. It's just like another form of currency. I move this US dollar into Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin is more secure through the blockchain. I don't know.
And I'm just saying, if 100 of us do that at once, that's not going to have any side effects. If you have the entire country switch over to that, the ripple effect on everything, like
think of how many what the ripple effect is, though. Yeah,
I'm not saying it would work. I'm just saying that there'd be some major repercussions that I don't know if we can even predict what those would be because we're not high-level economists.
No, fuck the economist. God damn it.
What would happen is,
I'm not talking the suits of Wall Street. I'm talking like legitimate, like learned scholars, economists.
So Gary,
in the private sector economists.
Okay, I got a rebuttal in a sec. Go, Logan.
So Gary, are you saying like what would happen if other assets like stocks and bonds, people decided to move out of those and buy Bitcoin instead?
All at once, not over time. All at once on the same day.
Oh, yeah. What would happen is that the price of Bitcoin would go up, and then the price of those other things would go down.
Right.
And I think there would be a limiting factor on how much people would actually do that, because if the price of Bitcoin rises, then it just becomes less and less attractive to buy it because people prefer not to buy things that are high priced.
But what if you have to? What if they say we're giving up on the dollar, everyone's switching to crypto, a digital currency, or whatever we're choosing to use? You put every single American that has any money invested in government bonds or bank bonds or anything, they all at the same time go out. And then is it just like first one in is most lucky, last one out is, last one in is the one paying the most for that Bitcoin? As everyone in America is doing that and the price of that rises, the people that, are the last ones in are going to obviously get the worst value out of the trade.
Yeah, but are they ultimately fucked?
That's ultimately they would be if you're, say
how do you know that? How do you know? But what if the value of it doesn't stop going up even after they buy in?
Because if you're trading in your current assets for a new asset and the asset's rising, you give everybody 100. You give 100 people $100, and in their bank accounts, and just for simple math's sake, and the new currency is worth $1. The first 5 people buy in. What does it raise up to? What is that person 99?
Sure.
100. What is their $100 that they're putting in going to be worth compared to the first 5? In terms of value after the growth.
You have that same fear with the U.S. dollar. You have that same fear with the U.S. dollar. Do you not?
So if that actually happened and like a bunch of people got out of the stock market because they decided they'd rather be in Bitcoin, I know what I would do. I would just buy as much stock as I could, because that means you're buying it
or what?
when it's and
then everyone's going to turn around with their Bitcoin and buy it back up. And yes, you're right. But I think the stock market itself wouldn't be impacted. I'm talking just, savings account on a level. Like I said, you give everyone $100. The new currency starts at 1. After the first 10 people purchases up there, the value of that $1 new currency is obviously going to rise to $10 or $20 because so many more people are buying it. And then the last people in are trading their $100 in for a $100 value when the first person traded their $100 for a $1 value, and I can guarantee you the first people in aren't going to be you, me, Logan. Like,
I see what you're saying.
Really
but... yeah, go for it.
I was just going to say, what you're really describing is what's called a price bubble.
It's what happens to bubbles; they burst.
That happens all the time right now.
But you do it on a total macro countrywide scale on a bubble burst, and then all this new currency we get into would be just as bad off as the dollar.
Not necessarily.
That bubble burst. I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm just trying to think of the ripple effects and the implications that it's going to have.
Okay.
And I don't think that we can necessarily comprehend an entire countrywide conversion within, a span of even, a couple of years. Like,
right. Well, and you're saying everybody jumps onto just one. We just all jump on Bitcoin, right? Everybody that nothing else exists. Everybody just moves to Bitcoin. All US dollar moved into Bitcoin, right?
Yes.
But the thing is, those other things would still have value because they have intrinsic value. So that means if that really happened and those things are all super underpriced, that means there's an opportunity to make a bunch of money by selling off all your Bitcoin and buying those other things.
If I have $1,000 stowed away in my mattress, and this all happened, and the dollar was essentially worth nothing, it wouldn't be worth anything at the end of the day.
I know.
That paper money, it's not worth anything right now. I get that, but
no. But what if you bought what you could with your Bitcoin, and then as the national economy grew for the next month or so, your Bitcoin became more valuable and you could still use it. It's not like it became completely worthless. That $1,000 could be, what if that $1,000 became the equivalent of $2,000?
I'm
even for that individual.
$1,000 bills in my mattress.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It technically has zero value if it's not in a bank where it can be converted
right
as easily. Then it's essentially just fodder. Firewood.
Say you put that into some sort of digital asset, Bitcoin, whatever it might be. I think that it would eventually become worth more if everybody was on it, because
I get that, and I agree with you. I'm just saying that the initial switch
switch would suck. And if you're not paying attention and you don't get on the bandwagon soon enough, that happens all the time. I mean, that's happened with crypto over and over again. People that bought it at under 100.
The people that are going to be affected are me, you, Logan, everyone in this group. Look when COVID happened, and those people, those Democrats and Republicans that had that insider information all sold those stocks and bought the new ones.
Who cares?
We're going to be the last ones to know, and we're going to be the ones that are impacted by it.
I know. We're talking about it right now. How are we not going to know? We're not getting fucked.
Okay.
We're the ones in charge here, okay? If it's happening on our watch.
Also,
right now, this is the Bilderberg meeting, and we're setting up the global economy how we want.
Also, if you think the United States government, like Logan was saying, would let this happen, for one, and two, if you think that even if it's something like Bitcoin, they wouldn't try to regulate and control it, you really want the government controlling a digital currency?
It'd be really fucking hard. No, I don't want them. I'm going on your hypothetical, you son of a bitch. You dragged me into this. You dragged me into this. No, I know.
Only way it would happen is if the government had like
absolutely.
90% control on it.
I like that it's decentralized and that there's a variety of them and not one.
That's the thing I was going to go off earlier with the variety and the competition between the two. And
there's so many uses. It's not just like a digital asset. It can be integrated within business. It's great. I mean,
look at Dogecoin.
Yeah. I mean, that's an interesting one. I don't know how I feel about that one still. That one really could just
meme
flop.
coin.
I know, but that's why it could really flop. But it could also be a great success. I mean, it's
like if you were to ever have a study of like the human impact on currency, I don't see why you wouldn't start and stop with that right there. Like Slim Jims made an online YouTube ad, and that's what caused it to go from like 13 cents to 40 cents and like hover over like 20 cents to 40 cents and hover there because Slim Jim had like an ad on the internet.
I know.
And then like you hear like the Doge Day, which was a huge buzz, and like Elon going on SNL and like huge buzz, and like Elon, as much as I love Papa Musk, like he is, like if you can't understand that he is 100% in it for himself, like he's pumping and dumping, he's raising the value and selling it to make money. And if you can't, and people are getting so mad at him for that, like why would he be part of this for anything else besides to make money?
I almost got into it with my brother-in-law over Elon Musk because he was saying that somebody needs to put a muzzle on that guy and like basically censor him and control what he says. And I'm like, dude, no. I started getting a little heated because you know how I feel about the First Amendment. I'm like, I don't think anybody should control what somebody says, first off.
First off, that's the First Amendment. You don't talk about daddy that way. All right. If Elon could be president, I would vote for him.
Oh, absolutely. I would vote for him in a heartbeat. That guy does so much.
I don't think he can.
No, he can't. He's not from here. It's
there's Kamala Harris or Barack Obama, but
I'm not gonna
see this kind of shit why we can't get popular.
I know.
That's why we can't get popular.
Son of a bitch. We were about to blow up. This was gonna go viral until right now. Canceled. Son of a bitch. But anyways, to finish that, I did get into it with him over Elon Musk and that very thing about how, you know, somebody with so much power could sway something so has such an influential voice that he can control a market in such a way that he can make money off it. I'm like, okay, Elon Musk is going to pay the consequences in the end, or he's going to benefit. And other people can either see what's going on and benefit themselves like you're seeing, or they're going to be suckers in the end. Like, that's fucking life. I mean, if you're going to look at this and you're not going to play the game properly, that's on you. I mean, props to you, bro, for pointing out, you're like, something's going on with, I think it was you or it was John. Both of you fuckers were going on about it. And we got in at what, under 2 cents? I bought it at 0.019 cents.
Yeah, that's what I got it too. And then I had fucking glass paper hands.
Yeah, I know. I was telling everybody to sell at fucking 13 cents. I'm like, how is it going to go up any higher? Prove me wrong, and it even hit fucking what, 70 some cents. Thankfully, like, I had sold mine and I didn't realize that I bought back in, and I totally forgot. So when I went,
you made like $600, didn't you?
Yeah, it was up. It was like $400. It was $20 that I put back in, and I told, like, honest to God, I opened my account and I saw the value at over $400, and I just kind of sat there for a second, and I'm like, did I just sign into someone else's account? Like, what the fuck? I didn't.
Richter cashed out and made some money.
Oh yeah, I made money too. I got my money back and then some. Not a lot. Like, what? I'm up $80, but I still have hundreds in. Oh, that looks delicious, sir. I like that.
I sold at 30 cents. There you go, a little red wine, a little antioxidants.
Did you say you sold at 30?
30 cents, yeah. And well, the reason I got out so fast instead of just because I was planning on sitting on this for forever.
You could buy back in. You really wouldn't lose much.
I did. Well, compared to the 1 cent I bought in at, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But if I would have held until like when it hit 70 cents, I would have made like $7,000.
Jesus, bro.
And it's always you could have, should have, would have when after you sell it goes up kind of deal. But like I got out because I thought Robinhood was fucked, and you couldn't transfer Doge, or I know transferring cryptos is tricky. I guess. I don't really know. I looked into it briefly, but it looked like way too much stuff for me to transfer my small amount
through Robinhood. Yeah, that's why I got out.
Like I got out because I thought Robinhood was fucked, and I'm like, well, what's going to happen is it's going to go in, and when Robinhood's every account's locked out for 90 days, it's going to fucking tank, and then I'm going to be over $100, and like.
So you're just like, fuck it, I'm getting out while I can.
And at 30 cents, and I'm already up,
Why not?
Yeah, and then I like keep watching it go, and I'm like just sitting at home crying, and I'm like, why is this world unfair?
Isn't it weird that you feel that way even though you're still positive? Like, I'm up, but I still feel like shit because of what could have been. Yeah,
exactly.
That is a tough one. But then if it tanks, you feel like you're on top of the world.
Oh yeah.
So it's like that dollar amount, like the amount you have in your hands only matters on what is the value out there. What is the value out there? That's all it, like this doesn't mean anything if it's worth more out there now. But if it's worth less, like god damn it, I made $7,000, you son of a bitch. Like
it's all what I could have done. Like I mean that's the same that is essentially describing the US dollar as well. But
yeah. No, it's that's why that is a big thing, like as to why I got out of Robinhood, seeing that myself. And I think I made the account on Binance. I put the money in and bought it after I like went through all the authentication, got my bank account set up. I bought the Doge. I think I logged out and totally forgot I ever did that. Probably the best thing I ever did.
oh yeah,
best thing I've ever done. $400 a Doge.
That's all you would have thought about.
Yeah, I probably would have watched it way closer. I probably would have sold it at some point when the value was 200. But now I've just left it in there. I watched it go up to almost $500 in value. I think it's 300. But I just remind myself that was $20. Like just let it ride.
Oh yeah.
If you lose all of it, fuck it. If it's worth $1,000 someday, that was $20. That's where I'm at.
That's the best part too. Is like. Well, also, like it's been quiet for a while, so like, is the fad over, or is it gonna jump right back up? Like,
it's just simmering till it starts to boil. I don't know.
Like,
I think winter has a lot to do with it, because I think the way the internet functions is, people got to be on it. And if people are in summertime mode, they're not on the internet as much. But if people are in wintertime, chilling, sitting back, I'm on the internet a whole lot more. And I can be influenced by Elon Musk much easier. I really do think that would play a factor. Because it's
at 29 cents right now.
Right. Yeah.
I just checked it.
I'm going to make a prediction right now that we're going to be back up to 70 by the end of the year, just based on how crypto always goes around the holidays, how it always seems to go up around the end of the year. I mean, not always, but it doesn't go down around that time. It'll at least hold stable or go up. I don't think I've ever seen it drop like dramatically.
No. Look where we were. And, like, Dogecoin is just so different, like from a sociological perspective than Bitcoin, because most people can't get into Bitcoin because they don't have, $53,000 sitting around to buy one. Yeah, you can buy partial shares and stuff, but like with Dogecoins, like you said, $20. If everyone can go turn $20 to 500 pretty fast, Mark Cuban was talking about it, and a lot of people get mad at him right now, whatever. Like he's like, like he bought it for his kids, like in his kids' names and stuff. He was like, it's essentially you have better chance of making millions of dollars off that than you do of winning the lottery. He said it's a better odds than winning the lottery. It's it's $20,
Right. Why wouldn't you play the game? Like that's just the thing. Some people might come in too late, like we're talking about. There's going to be winners and losers in life. That's going to happen. I mean, because if everybody invests money, how is everyone going to become a millionaire? You either get in when the time is right and you make your fucking money, or you're too late. And that's what really drives the price of these things out, is fear of missing out. The fear of missing out is I think a lot of what caused Doge to just climb and not stop, because everybody's talking about it. Everybody's messaging their friends. They're like, oh my God, you got to get in on this. And it just goes and goes and goes, because everybody thinks like, God, I don't want to miss out. And then it tanks because everybody that bought in at super low prices, they're like, fuck it, I'm selling, I'm way the fuck up. And then the tank goes way the fuck down, and then people are like, oh my God, it's so fucking cheap. And then more people are buying in, then more people see it spiking, and then it's a vicious fucking cycle, dude. You're gonna have people that make it and people that fucking drowned. Like, that's fucking life. I don't know how to answer your question other than survival of the fittest.
Oh, it's capitalism.
If everybody got converted to Bitcoin and we all went on one currency, there are going to be some winners and losers. Some people are going to get fucked. I wish everybody could turn out to be as wealthy as the next individual, but equality of outcome, I don't see it.
You're propagating for mass wealth for everyone. Sounds pretty socialistic, bro.
No, I'm saying it's not possible. Not possible.
No, I get you. I agree.
I wish, though. I mean, if only.
Have you been canceled yet for your Facebook video earlier?
No, but You guys might cancel me right now because I'm just looking at this and the audio might not even be fucking recording.
Oh, that'd be terrible. Well, maybe.
Bro, what the fuck's going on?
This is pure gold you just threw away.
Dude, no.
Catch up to your house for a weekend.
Yeah, and
get them all pumped up for a base boys, base basement podcast, and talk to them for a couple weeks. But I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this. And then in the 11th hour, when he's up there, be like, oh yeah, by the way, we've been having issues with recording. I know you've been dashing a lot. Any chance you can help? Any chance you can help purchase a real system here? And he put more money into that than he would crypto.
Well, yeah, I don't think he puts any money into crypto as much as he promotes it.
I think he does.
Does he? I thought I asked him one day, and he's like, "Nah, man, I don't got anything." I'm like, "Are you serious, bro?"
I know he has silver.
Silver, yeah, but not crypto. He'll go into precious metals, but I don't know. Oh,
yeah.
Let me go see this file. You fucking son of a bitch.
God damn it, Ryan.
Bro, I saw my screen kind of go blank for a second. I'm like, what the fuck was that? And then everything popped back up and it all looked good. So I'm like, all right, it says it's recording. Everything looks fine. But then I scrolled down.
What the fuck are we paying you for?
I don't know. But then when I scroll down, I didn't see any like the little audio bars moving. I'm like, are you not recording audio?
Like, if this was a paid position,
oh, I'd be fired in an instant, bro.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think the guy that's running the podcast should also be on the podcast. That's kind of hard.
Louder Crowder does it.
Nah.
I don't know.
He's got a bunch of people running the shit in the back, and then he's just there in the front.
Everybody who's a major person started out doing their own audio.
I know.
You guys
I've gotta be able to do
just
this.
to cover ourselves legally. I think we need to put a little disclaimer in this show. This is all for entertainment purposes only, and none of this is financial advice. We are not licensed financial advisors.
Oh,
that's true. Well, did we tell anybody to go buy this or go buy that?
No, we're not telling them that.
But did we say those words?
I don't think I did. We were just.
By the way,
so
a friend of mine who's in grad school, one of his classmates lost his entire stipend from GameStop and Dogecoin.
What?
So just be careful, you guys.
Because you gave advice?
No. I'm just saying he lost all his money because of that stuff.
Oh yeah, because he didn't play the game right. He caught into the fear of missing out and got in too late, or he bought in and then everybody sold. And what did he buy in at like 50 cents, and now it's down to 30? How do you lose everything? I guess is the question, because it's not worth nothing.
You buy on margin.
Oh, you can do that with crypto.
I think so.
Oh.
I don't know. He's saying,
if stocks. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, you can get in big trouble. Well, you heard about the guy who killed himself because the Robinhood won't get back to him.
Yes,
he would had all this money. He since it's all he went home from University of Nebraska. He was home with COVID.
Equality.
He started investing, getting into crypto stocks and stuff like that. He was buying a lot of stuff on margin, and right before the call, it all showed negative and blah blah blah. And he was $700,000 in the hole, and because stuff didn't go through, and he tried. It was over the weekend, and he kept trying to reach out to Robinhood to be like, "Is this for real? What do I do?" Blah blah blah, and he kept getting automated messages back, and he was so concerned with the amount, when the call was coming due, that he wouldn't be able to, pay for it, all that stuff. He was gonna bankrupt his family, blah blah. That he killed himself. And then a day later, it went through and he was up $200,000. And Robinhood replied back to him after he killed himself.
Yeah, I remember that.
What an idiot! Why would you just kill yourself over that? That makes no sense.
If you were responsible for putting you and your parents into $700,000 in debt, would you want to live with that?
Well, none of that is real until you actually
you're right.
Happens.
You're right. You have neither made nor lost money until actually when the calls come due, you have to when you play on margins, not just regular stocks, you're playing on margins. You do have to pay or go down, and that's how everybody fucked over all the suits on Wall Street with GameStop. Is when when it came due on when they said it would fail and it didn't, then they had to pay back because they were shorting the stock. Because they took it out and they decreased the value to sell it back at a lower value and make money off it or something like that. And that's
when
can't remember exactly what it was.
Well, how it works is, my understanding at least, is that whoever these guys are, they buy stocks off of people at a certain value, thinking that, okay, GameStop is going to tank, the value of the stock is going to become way less. So I'm going to buy these stocks off of you at this price, sell them, and I'm going to buy them back for you at a cheaper price so that I'm going to make money off the top, and then you're going to get your shares back, and I think they get something out of it too.
Yes.
So I think that's how the game's played. So then when everybody's like, okay, they're looking at GameStop, so everybody invests in GameStop and holds on, the value of it goes up, so the guys that wanted to short the stock are now fucked holding all of this fucking money. Because they have to pay it back. So if they wanted to buy the stocks back, they have to buy the shares now at a higher price than what they paid for them. So they aren't making money in their business. They are now losing money in their business.
Yeah, I think I saw something like 2 weeks ago, like Melvin Capital is still like down 40%.
Fuck up, honestly. Good.
Oh, nothing makes me happier.
And I just wanted to throw this out there. Feldman, it recorded the audio even though it showed me that it was not recording the audio. I listened to it all the way to the last second. We're good. So I keep my job?
Keep your job, yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Good job for doing the most basic function of what we ask you to do.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
All right, so now that I know we're recording,
well, hitting the record button's very hard. God damn it!
You should at least make $15 an hour for that,
dude. It's at least 20 plus. Okay.
Why not give you 100?
No arguments.
Tell me your thoughts on Anthony Fauci,
bro. No, don't even get me started. Why you just
have you been canceled for that 9-minute 42-second rant yet?
Is that how long it was? Somebody told me it was 10 minutes. I was like, no, it was like 7, 8.
No, it was like 9 minutes.
One thing in there.
What?
None of this should surprise us, and I'm not surprised at all.
No,
I don't even have to like read the news to know that guy is a smarmy little liar.
He's a fucking snake, right?
I knew the first time I saw him just from physiognomy.
Like the way he looked? Is that what that means?
Yeah, physiognomy is like judging people's character by seeing what they
body
look like.
shaming? Yeah.
I absolutely believe that physiognomy is real science. Like, you can look at someone and tell if they're a good person. And the first time I ever looked at Anthony Fauci,
I got that feeling.
Hold on. Do you also base your actions and how you treat other people based off of your astrology sign, or no? Like, because you're a Taurus, you're stubborn? Like, is that what you're
No, I don't buy into that.
Because that's essentially the same shit to me. Like,
no, physiognomy is real though.
Like, are you Sagittarius and that's why you're so judgmental and grumpy, Logan? Or were you a Pisces?
I understand where he's coming from, because when I see Fauci, he screams fucking snake, and I'm not talking about his sign. All right, maybe it is his sign.
There's no snake sign.
I know. Listen, there.
Go to the college campus.
I'm thinking of the Chinese fucking zodiac. That's what he's a fucking snake regardless, okay? Or a rat.
Go to St. Scholastica, go to UMG, and ask some like 22-year-old blonde girl what the astrology signs are, and she'll tell you.
I could ask my wife; she could probably tell me all of them. So I don't need to go there.
Get her down. Call her down to the basement. Let's have her explain astrology to us.
We're not. You asked me about Fauci. I don't want to go there. Plus, she's at work, thankfully, so I don't.
Isn't that why you wanted to have this podcast? To go off
on Fauci?
Yeah.
part of it, and like I am just amped up today. Like I literally could not sleep, and I'm just jacked.
What happened?
Ready to go. Learning about all this fucking shit with Fauci. I guess, yeah, I do want to go off about that, but that definitely just... I'm not surprised either, Logan, but I'm also jacked up about it because, like, one of my buddies... Huh?
People still defend him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, and one of my buddies was just like, oh, yeah, I'm not surprised. It's the way it is. It's always been that way, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, I still want to get pissed off about it. Like, it still makes me fucking angry to know that this happened within the past year and I had to live a life like this based on, like, this fucking dude. And I can remember my brother-in-law and all these fucking people quoting this jackass. Well, Dr. Fauci says this and Dr. Fauci says that. Well, now I'm at the point where I'm like, Dr. Fauci's a complete fucking asshat and I don't want to hear his name one more goddamn time.
So your brother-in-law seems like an interesting guy because he loves the show, but he's also defending Fauci.
This is a different brother-in-law.
Okay.
I have more than one brother-in-law. And,
okay.
They're going to start figuring out who they are now based on this, if they listen.
Look, do people listen to this outside of us? You're eating on camera. You are so unprofessional. Logan, do you believe that like outside people actually watch and listen and enjoy this garbage? Besides like the people on it?
Oh, I'm the only person I've ever seen commenting on it on YouTube.
People actually watch it.
I usually drop like one little comment like these boys are based.
Yes, the best. I actually have people like this is what also got me motivated recently. That my brother-in-law has told me like, when are you guys going to do another episode? Like he's waiting for us to do one. Like he loves to watch these. My coworker, he's like, you guys haven't done one in forever. You got to do one. So I was like, okay, damn. Like there are actual people besides us that listen to us.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Should we start putting out episodes and like taking it really seriously? Because if you want me to like get serious, I can start.
I kind of want to.
I wore a fucking suit on election night. Are you trying to tell me this isn't serious?
No, I mean
you've
myself,
always been
like
serious more than anyone.
I mean myself. Like if you want, I can prepare and like have a lot of good stuff to say.
I've been considering it, like actually having talking points set up, make sure everything's like lined up, so that way we actually hammer through things in a decent fashion rather than let's talk for 2 hours about some random bullshit. Like, no, let's have subjects we want to try to get through and see where we go with a show in a sense.
We've been talking about that for the last year.
I know. But I am much more motivated now for whatever fucking reason. You can hold me to it. I'm putting it out on the internet. I'm more dedicated than I've ever been to this. And if more people want to get in on it with me, I'm all about it. And if people wanted to put in money to help me buy better equipment so that this runs a little smoother,
told you what to do.
I know. I gotta just hit up Sugar Daddy Mitch. I know.
Just bring him up to Duluth. Let him do some dashing.
He is way too nice to me as it is, and I do not deserve it. So I would never take advantage of this guy.
That's
no
true.
Fucking
He's
way.
a good guy.
I could never ask him for a fucking penny because every time he comes up here, he wants to take me out to eat. And if I want to try to buy, he's like, no, I'm going to take you out to go get fucking pizza. Every time. I can't argue. I love pizza.
This whole thing was pretty much at least 50% his idea.
Oh, it's like 90%. He came up with basement. And I'll be honest. I was like, what the fuck does based even fucking mean when he told me? I had no idea.
I had Urban Dictionary myself. Don't feel bad.
Dude, I looked it up. I still don't understand. It took me forever. I don't think I started to understand until recently.
This is his brainchild, and he's like never on it, but he just loves it anyways. Like
right. He is
based?
Oh yeah. Define it, please. Somebody.
Based is originally from a rapper.
Oh, is
there was a rapper who called himself the Based God, and then people on Twitter loved him because he had like a bunch of funny tweets, and then being based became like a good thing, and then
to some people,
and then like people who were political started making it like you're aware or you're you have like good opinions. You're based.
Okay. I started to take it as like you were grounded in your opinions and you ran against like the grain like of society. Because when I saw people saying like, "Oh, you're based," it's like you don't fit to. I don't know. You don't fit into a certain mold. You're in this mold all of a sudden. I don't even want to call it that, but it's just like I started to see how based was defined.
I feel you. I get why you see that, and I agree. That's I think that's part of it.
I had no idea where it came from. I didn't even try to look up a definition. I'm like, what the fuck does any of this mean?
I had no clue either.
Okay. Well, thanks for clarifying. I do know what you're talking about, based God. I have seen that. I had no idea that's where it originated from, or I didn't know that had anything to do with it. Okay.
And red pilled is from the Matrix. So if you're based and red pilled, it means you're fully aware.
I'd say that's basement. I think
if
Mitch
you're
did
woke,
a pretty good job.
Woke is like the left wing version of that.
We know what woke is, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've heard that there's the term basement podcast, so I think that basement just has that ring to it. It's just fitting. I like it. So I would love to take it to the next level. So, anyways, let's go into Fauci.
Yeah. But anyway, wait, before anyone tries to say we're not taking this seriously, we'll go back to last night. I fucking did my hair, tied a tie. I didn't even wear a tie for work. I planned it out. I gave everybody states.
Yeah,
we were really wrong.
We were, weren't we?
We
were pretty far off. That was unpredictable. But I know.
I think
Gary,
Spencer,
you've been trying harder than any of us, and you deserve recognition.
I tried. I think Spencer and maybe John both said Minnesota would go blue, and they were both right.
Yeah. I was hoping it would go red. That was just me being overly optimistic and
me too,
slightly naive. And,
hey, maybe it did.
Yeah,
we'll find out.
That's right. It was all rigged. It was all
right. So I'll give you an option if you don't want to go off.
No, I'll go off.
We can talk about Maricopa County, or we can talk about Fauci.
Fauci, because I know nothing about the latter.
I have no clue what happens if they find fraud. Like massive fraud.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone does. I don't think it's in the Constitution, but yeah, okay.
I know.
That's all I want to say.
Yeah. That's a messy
Another thing we can talk about in future podcasts. Yeah. Another thing we can talk about on a future episode is the January 6th incident. Some pretty interesting stuff is coming out about that now.
Yeah. No, I would definitely be up for that.
I think that we should talk about how much money Ryan would spend if AOC made an OnlyFans.
A lot, probably, yeah.
Plus or minus $50.
Oh. I don't know if my wife watches. Probably plus 50, probably.
Okay.
I mean,
you can just lie about it.
Something else we can do?
Curiosity, honestly. Or I'd have somebody else do it for me and show me.
100%.
So I don't own it. So that way I don't know. I just, pure curiosity. What do her nipples look like? That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. If somebody could answer that for me, that'd be great.
Okay, so Fauci.
Fauci.
Go off.
And I'm going to pause. So Fauci. Fauci can go to fucking hell. All right. Hearing about Fauci and this whole Peter guy and the Wuhan lab and the money, I'm done. I've completely thrown in the towel. I know you guys know what I'm talking about.
I don't know anything about this Peter guy.
You don't know anything about this?
I really haven't been paying. I've been off Twitter for a while.
Shit. All right, so this guy's name is like Peter Daszak or something like that. He is, I think it's Eco Health, Eco Alliance. I don't fucking know. I swear it's Eco something. That was the company that got the grant, or however they got the money from Fauci. I'm pretty sure it was a grant. And that company then gave the money to the Wuhan lab in China that we're talking about. And
okay.
Then, the pandemic happens. we end up sending somebody in to go investigate, and this Peter guy who also works for this company, also works for the World Health Organization, and he is who ends up going in on behalf of America to investigate the lab to determine that he was supposed to determine if this could have originated from the lab or not. And within 3 hours, he determined that it did not come from the lab. It could not have come from the lab, and was publicly saying there are no live bats here. It did not come from here. Did not leak. They are not doing this here is basically what he's going out and saying. And I just, that the fact that this guy went and did the investigation while he is also the one that has given money to them, like how are you investigating the very people you give money to do like what you're giving them money to do? You know, it's like they gave them money to specifically do gain of function research, and then he's trying to say that never happened, and they're trying to cover the whole thing up. And he even emails Dr. Fauci saying, "Thank you for your public support of basically dismissing the Wuhan lab leak theory. You know, thank you for your hard work and your voice." Like, it's very strange that Fauci gives this guy fucking money. This guy is also the guy that works at the World Health Organization and is the one that goes in and does the fucking investigating and lies about it and gets proven wrong, as we have leaked footage showing there actually were bats inside the fucking lab. And I don't even understand how this documentary came to be, because that's what it looks like, of them going out and going to the caves, collecting bats as they hang off their hat and they're wearing their masks, and there's bats all over the fucking place, and they bring them back to the lab and they're feeding them and running their tests and doing their whole thing all in China. So it's just like, okay, this guy's publicly saying there were no bats after his investigation, but then we have video evidence there were bats. So like, how trustworthy is this guy based off of just that right there? And this is the guy that we listened to ultimately back in March, determining that there's no lab leak theory here. Completely debunked. And people ran with that. And I feel like now it's just getting completely blown apart with everything that's coming out. And it's not so much about Fauci's emails, honestly. It's just, you can look at everything Fauci's ever fucking said. And when is he ever... It's hard to say when he's ever right, because he literally says everything. So at any point in time, he's right, and at any point in time, he's wrong. So how credible is he? It's just, why do we listen to this asshat? Can someone tell me, why do we listen to Fauci? How did he become the guy? Does anyone know?
What I've been curious about with all these emails and stuff like that, and like hearing it and hearing how much Trump was right on, that then all of a sudden, you know, people came out and said no, and started screaming and everything like that, is like, how did he? Why did he allow it to happen? How much did he know? Like,
did Trump allow this to happen?
Fauci to be there.
Fauci,
he obviously, he's saying stuff that turns out to be true, apparently, and then everyone goes out against it, and Fauci says it. But like, Trump's obviously getting this information somewhere, and
well,
like,
yeah, because Trump said, because somebody asked Trump, "What is there any evidence to say that this was a lab leak?" And Trump comes out and says, "Yes, there is evidence to say that." And they, of course, fucking lambast him for saying that. The media.
So he has that information, but then Fauci comes out and says this, and he's an official employee of the White House or the U.S. government. So Trump should have the ability to fire him. Why did he let him go for so long? If Trump's being told one thing, saying getting bombarded, and then Fauci comes out and says, "Yep, and makes mandates and rules and works with the CDC to directly, and the FDA to directly oppose that." And Trump knows one thing, then he's seeing the other, and he's letting it happen. So, like, that's what I'm curious, why he let it happen.
Well, how much Trump knew, I think, could be in question about Fauci, right? How much did he know about what Fauci, like, what did Fauci actually know? We don't know. What was Fauci actually doing? I don't know. Was Fauci like working with China and all this other fucking shit? No fucking clue. But to get rid of Fauci, a guy that's been a guy that's been in his position for 2 decades, as long as he has been, and then to get rid of him with the way the media is, could you imagine if he got rid of Fauci and the way that they would have?
Did that stop him before though?
I mean, he didn't do that. Trump is willing to do things, but I think with the election was still on the line at that time. Why getting rid of Fauci isn't going to do you any favors when there's the beginning of a pandemic and this guy is viewed as the pandemic expert, and you're going to fire that guy? Like, that doesn't look good for you whatsoever.
No, but if he knowingly knows he's giving out wrong information,
we don't know. We didn't really know that until now.
But now that we know that, it makes you even question it even more. Like, clearly Trump was getting some information because he was right about stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. Of course he's getting fed information that he can't release publicly.
No, he was. He was out there saying however you say it. He's out there saying that. He's out there saying this stuff. Then that's being turned around saying, no, absolutely not. And then it comes out later that, no, that was true. So he obviously was informed of somewhere and went and said it publicly to the media. And so if he knew that was accurate, but then Fauci's coming out and saying the exact opposite, at what point, it makes me wonder how much he actually did know. I think it was a lot more. And I think he let it happen. I blame him more now if he knew this information was correct and then was letting the media and Fauci go out there and say it's wrong. I think he's significantly more responsible now than I would have ever accused him of before.
I suppose, yeah. And maybe he shouldn't have let optics play such a role in that. He should have stuck to his guns more, and it would have been more favorable in the long run. I mean, I could see that totally. But I can also remember being in 2020 January, where we're all talking about this and the state of the world at the time, and the way people generally felt about Trump, the way that the pandemic was viewed at that point, a lot of people were taking it very seriously. Actually, let's back up. This is something we should cover. Let's rewind for a second, because we all did take it seriously, right?
For the most part.
Mask up. We shut down the fucking country, but can we remember back in January, February 2020 when it was xenophobic and the New York health commissioner was like, no, we need to have Hug an Asian Day. You guys remember that?
To that exact same time frame. Remember what's happening in the middle of February when Trump's advisors told him to shut down the country, the Iowa caucus. If he would have shut that down in the middle of the Iowa caucus and didn't allow the Democrats to properly and correctly choose their candidate, think of the backlash of that.
Right.
And here's the thing that, I'll go to the grave on this one too, is that even if there was fraud, which I'm not saying there was or wasn't, because it's just, there's fraud in every election. But even if there was, Trump cost himself the election. Like, he put up the wrong people around him. Like, if you look at the votes, the demographics of the vote he gained versus the number one demographic of the vote he lost was older white male. Like, his base, according to everybody, he put the wrong people in his ear and around him, including Fauci, and that cost him himself. Even people I've heard that are Democrats that said if he would have handled the pandemic correctly at the start, regardless of what the opinion on that is, and just shut everything down, to begin with, regardless of xenophobic, I think he would have won. I think if the pandemic never happened, I think he'd still be president.
Right. Hindsight's 2020, bro. I mean, it's so hard to say like that. That's what I need to do in that exact moment when you don't know what the outcome's going to be in the long run, because we didn't know what COVID was like at the time. It came out of fucking nowhere. So you can't just say
they were choosing who lived and who died in Italy. They were welding doors shut in China. Like, yeah.
No, I know. I
agree.
He could have cracked down a whole lot fucking more at the beginning. Absolutely. But then you also had the media, New York Times, all of them putting it out there. The flu is more deadly than the coronavirus. The flu is a bigger thing to worry about than the coronavirus. Like, you don't have to worry about dying from COVID-19. The flu is a much bigger deal. Like, that was headlines for a good month there, and it's xenophobic. Go hug an Asian and go do all this. Like, how the fuck did we go through all of that? And then, like, within a month, all those same people were just like, oh my God, Trump didn't handle this very well, and everything spread like fucking wildfire. It's crazy because he didn't shut down the goddamn country. It's like, okay, for one, you guys were promoting to go out and hug people and spread it and not shut down the country. Like, that was the talk at the time. So if he even would have then shut down the country, they were already saying that it was xenophobic, and that was the optics at that time. So
there's no way to win, essentially.
There really is no way to do the right thing. So I can't imagine being in his boat, getting blindsided by this, and what decision are you going to make? I agree with you. He probably would have won if he would have cracked down on this from the get-go. We would have figured out what it is, realized we can come up with the vaccine, we can slap this thing right in the fucking face, and we can move on next year. I mean, we easily could have done that if we would have caught it sooner, but also, we didn't, and here we are.
Regardless of anyone's like political affiliation and that's holds an office, like all these governors and stuff, like especially when this all first started, if you can remember back to then, like I do not envy them. Like I will give Walz a ton of shit for how everything's kind of played out, but like at the time he was initially making the decision, I still support the first 2-week shutdown. Like I 100% think that is, from what we knew at the time, I 100% support that and think that he handled that correctly.
15 and, everything days to slow the spread made sense.
I would not want to be in their shoes.
No, I wouldn't want to be in their shoes. And I could agree with that. I mean, it makes sense to me how it would slow the spread to do something like that. To shut down the entire economy for the entire fucking year, and then somehow we're going to start turning things around January, February of the next year for arbitrary fucking reasons. Like, this is what I don't fucking get. The response we had. What was SARS? 15% mortality rate or whatever the fuck it was, and we didn't have anywhere close to this reaction. Anywhere close. And then we get this, and we're losing our goddamn minds. We shut down the fucking country. People are going to start offing themselves left and right for various reasons, whether it be financial, their social lives have been uprooted. We're going to respond this way for something with a 1% mortality rate or whatever the hell it is. Like, how does that happen? How do we go from something that seems to be far more deadly, and this is our response, and then with something that's less deadly, we go way more extreme? Like, none of it makes sense to me. What were the guidelines that we were following to bring us to this place? I don't understand.
Well, I love the whole,
what are the guidelines?
Eradication of the virus kind of deal. And I think I saw somewhere like, I've said it plenty of times on our group chat that like they'll never eradicate COVID-19. Like 10 years from now, people will still get COVID. It'll just be a significantly weaker strain. Like I think I read somewhere, and don't quote me on this, I don't know if it's 100% true, but like I think there was like tens of thousands of cases of H1N1 in 2019.
Right.
So, like, can you ever officially eradicate a virus? Like, I mean, polio still exists technically.
Yeah, I don't think you do.
And Ryan,
what's up?
With what you're saying about how like they went from one side to the other, I remember like specifically there was a certain week where everybody switched. And all the people who were saying that the virus wasn't serious, like all of a sudden they were saying now it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of crazy how it's like they all get marching orders, and they're like like the Borg.
Yeah.
On Star Trek, the Borg, like the people who are they all have a hive mind.
Yep.
Where there's one mind in many, many bodies.
Sure.
That's what people are like in political tribalism. It's like they're all thinking the same thing.
Right, because how do we go from the beginning of the year treating this as if, oh, it's no big deal, the flu's more deadly than that, and then, yeah, within, it seemed like less than a month, it probably was the span of a week where all of a sudden we just fucking flipped, and it's the biggest fucking deal, we're going to shut down the entire country, and like I'm saying, when we look at SARS and the mortality rate, we had this sort of response, and then with COVID, we're like, nah, no big deal, and then, boom, shut down the entire fucking economy. Like, how it escalated to that is beyond me, other than media manipulation. Fauci at the head of the whole fucking thing, tied to fucking China. It all leaked from there, all to get a certain individual out of office. I do think this is a big fucking conspiracy. I can't be convinced otherwise at this point. I can't believe that it came naturally from bats and somehow randomly spread like this at such convenient fucking timing with all the things that played out thereafter with the individuals involved. Like, no, I'm not going to believe this came naturally. I can't.
But does it surprise you?
No, but that doesn't matter. And people say that. Oh, I'm not surprised. I don't care. I'm not surprised, but I'm fucking pissed because it happened. I'm not surprised, but I'm mad, bro.
What do you do different, though? Like, how do you stop it?
I'm right here getting pissed on the fucking internet. What else do you do?
Is that like, what?
I'm ranting with my boys, and we're going to go fucking viral after this. No, we don't condone violence. I'm going wild on the internet right now. How am I going to hurt anybody? I don't live in fucking England. They're not going to be knocking on my door tomorrow, and they're going to be like, oh, we saw what you said online last night. You know, if this is your first strike, if you said, I can't believe they go and knock on people's doors for what they did on the fucking internet. That actually happens.
Right. Words hurt people in 2021.
I know. Thank God I can keep hurting people in 2021 through the internet.
The spineless
I'm
GOP.
I'm doing it while I can.
The spineless GOP, like, the GOP. Okay, I saw this thing the other day. Like DeSantis, hold on, let me pull up the quote about like how
the gay old party.
What? Yeah, the able party.
The gay old party.
Oh, well, that's Joe.
You reminded me of something. Do you guys see what Schumer said? Just real quick, I want to throw this out there. What Schumer said in an interview recently, Chuck Schumer.
No,
you guys didn't see this?
Oh, he called them retarded.
Yeah, he was talking, like, somebody asked him about like something that he did or whatever. He's like, oh yeah, back in the day, we raised some money for the retarded children. It was easy, no big deal. Just nonchalant, like, yeah, for the retarded kids.
Honestly, the fact that he apologized for it makes me lose respect for him more than the fact that he said it in the first place.
Sure.
I would respect him more if he's just like, yeah, they're retarded. That's what they are. They're retards.
Hunter Biden did call his lawyer the N-word.
I'm
not funny.
I'm not going to rip on him or say like he's a terrible person for fucking saying it, but it's just, I want to put that up there. How a person in office can say something and this is the people's response, and then a certain other person says something and this is the response. It's just imagine if a different person came out and said,
"Imagine if
we did that for the retards." Yeah, exactly.
So here's the thing I saw the other day, and this kind of sums up the GOP and the problem why we are where we are. It says Ron DeSantis is proving that for the last 60 years, conservatism in America has just been controlled opposition. He makes what so many believe to be impossible look easy just because he just calls it how it is and says what, makes it like the logical thing and just does not get bullied and back down.
Did you share that? Because somehow I've read this.
Yeah, I put it on one of Mitch's groups. One of his many meme pages.
Well, yeah, conservatives basically stand for whatever liberals stood for 10 years ago.
That's true. Anti-war,
Like anything that liberals are saying now, 10 years from now, conservatives will be saying that, and liberals will be even further to the left.
There wasn't a switch slogan. That's not real. The party's never switched.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, it's so embarrassing.
Own the slaves.
There's. I do not blame other countries for like laughing at us.
Oh no! What?
At all?
Just can't.
You know what's crazy? I remember when it used to be an outrage when the Ayatollah of Iran said that America is the great Satan. But at this point, I'm kind of like seeing his point. Like, maybe we are the great Satan.
I mean, at this point, Americans are saying that.
We are anti-America.
Like, when you see the shit that America does in other countries, it's insane.
Oh, yeah.
We're the world's biggest exporter of, like, anti-white hatred and LGBT stuff. Like, in Estonia, they were pushing... Like, the American State Department in Estonia was pushing, like, critical race theory and LGBT. And they export that stuff to other countries.
That doesn't surprise me one bit.
So maybe we are the great Satan.
Or when
we're exporting our gays, yes.
Remember when Biden said that, like, America doesn't meddle in other countries' elections?
Oh my God, yeah. When he was just like, could you imagine? How would the world view us if the U.S. was meddling in other people's elections? It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
62. We've had influence over 62 elections in like the last 10 years or something like that.
Oh, dude, I was gonna say, in his 8 years as vice president, I think it really does open my eyes when he says, sometimes I forget I'm president. It's like, he's just a figure, dude. He doesn't do jack fucking shit if he's saying that, like, unironically, if he really is genuinely saying that without realizing, like, we actually do that shit, like, holy fucking shit. Is he really that much of a pawn and has no clue?
Even CNN reporters have gone out and said, like, we've never seen a president like handled this much by his handlers, like, or this influenced by his handlers.
Oh yeah.
And
he can't put a sentence together.
If CNN's doing that, something's wrong.
Well, I think that Biden's not there enough to put on a good enough show to sell everyone. So they got to say something about how there's something not quite right here, but we still support him regardless.
But they're in on it.
Oh, of course. But that's how you keep people towed along, is that, because that's what I'm saying, is like, people are going to see, like, he's not all there, but how do you get him on board? CNN helps you all along the way. The media helps. Biden's. Oh no, I know. That's what you say. That's exactly what you do. But at the end of the day, they're going to say Joe Biden's president, and we support him. And they're going to get other people to be like, "Yep, he may be a fucking old man that has dementia, but he's our president, and I support him, no matter what." People will. Even if they are ripping on it, that's the way people follow the media. Just like how they can say 1 week that the coronavirus is no big deal, the flu's a bigger deal than the coronavirus. Why are you even fucking worried about it? Then the next week, like, why aren't you wearing a mask? We need to shut down the entire country. Like, it doesn't take much to influence people. It really doesn't. No,
you're correct.
So, I know.
I just like everything. Like on his one press conference, he's like, I have they gave me a list of reporters to call on, of course, and as normal.
Yep.
It's like everyone always like, oh, they're gonna off him and put Harris in there, and like people forget that like the people who are running the show for him, like they are way significantly more establishment left than they are progressive left, and like they throw AOC and Bernie a bone every now and then to kind of keep the supporters happy. Like, at the end of the day, do you really think that the establishment elite are going to let Kamala Harris be president? I almost feel bad for her because it's almost like she was used for being a woman of color. Like, that's not right. Like,
that's it. I mean,
why else? Unless
a black female. That was the big thing. Even when at the inauguration, there was, this is the first time there's ever been a woman of color vice president, or this many women on the stage with me, and women, and that's it. What else?
Yeah,
it is sad.
But if I don't wish it by any means, but unfortunately, if Joe Biden passed away in office, like, how long are they going to let her be there?
I think that she really is the backup, though, because she's been a part of the establishment for a long enough time to, I think, have enough ties to where she's going to do what she needs to do to keep things going for herself and for the interest.
There's a reason why.
I think she's too progressive for him.
There's a reason why Kamala Harris is in the position she's in. It's because she's Indian.
Okay, they're going to go somewhere else for that.
No, she's Indian, and there's a ton of Indians in Silicon Valley who have a ton of money, and they back her.
Part of it.
No, sure. I disagree with that because she barely even made it out of the opening gates of the actual presidency.
No, I don't mean that she doesn't have popular support. I mean money-wise, they back her financially.
But still, if you have that much power backing you, you're going to make it. Actually, I wonder if Tulsi would never have destroyed her, then how that would have all played out. But I don't know.
It would have been totally different because she was squaring up against Biden. Like they were opposition for a while.
Yeah.
There. And she took some real good fucking jabs at him. And this is what I'll say to you about how Kamala's too progressive. I don't think we really know where Kamala stands because while she was going head to head with Biden and ripping on him, and then when she gets asked on Colbert and everywhere else, you really took shots at Joe Biden. Like, you fucking, man, you really dug into him. And then now you're gonna, be vice president for him. Like, how do you balance those two things? And then she just, it was a debate. It was a debate. Like as if debates don't mean anything.
Yeah.
You just say what you need to say to get people to do what you need them to do.
What she's saying there is that you shouldn't believe anything she says in a debate.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
She literally said if it's a debate, then it's not really what she thinks.
Right. Exactly.
So that means all the other things she said, like about her opinions on healthcare and things like that.
Who knows?
That was also in a debate, so she doesn't really mean any of it.
Right.
Well, our college loans haven't been forgiven yet, so I mean, I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, I just how nobody even was bothered by that. It was a debate. It's like saying it's a podcast. It's a podcast.
Don't cancel us for our opinions. This is a podcast.
That's what's gonna happen. Yeah, if we ever get doxxed, that's what we should say. It was a podcast.
It was a podcast. Oh, what? God, just fuck it, eh? Fuck it, eh, guys. I can't take Kamala seriously. I do think that she was picked, and I do think that she probably. I think they put a few different candidates out there. We put the Midwestern white mom out there, Amy Klobuchar. She's been out there for a while. We put the
at
black
this point,
Indian Hispanic
type.
once. Huh?
At this point, I would have been really okay with.
I shook Amy Klobuchar's hand once.
Did you?
I checked her into a hotel once.
Wow.
You did? Seriously?
Yeah.
Did you give her the worst room in the house or what?
No. She's paying customer. That's all I care about.
Greedy capitalist.
I mean, honestly.
How are we ever going to have a true revolution if you're just going to take their money?
This was 7 years ago. Okay.
Okay.
I voted for Gary Johnson back then for the first time. Okay, give me a break. I was young and dumb.
Yeah, I was just going to say, now I understand how naive you were. As naive as
honestly,
I was.
I would have been a lot happier with Andrew Yang, and that's saying something, I feel.
Dude, that is, because I don't think I would be, but...
besides his $1,000 thing, a month or whatever the hell you want to do, which at this point, fuck it, whatever. I like to send me money.
I agree that there's an issue there, and I see the issue that he sees as well, but I don't agree with his solution whatsoever. I don't either.
But I think I actually appreciate him trying to come to the table with something instead of.
Yeah. I wouldn't be happy with him as president trying to solve it, though, because I don't like his solutions. I
mean, he's got some things he's super progressive about, but I mean, I would have preferred him over anyone we have now.
Based on what?
Outside of Tulsi and Marianne Williamson, he probably is my third favorite in those. And
we need
Marianne Williamson is just purely for the crazy.
We need the crystals.
That bitch could summon a hurricane.
We need to be.
If she had to.
This nation needs to be healed, and I think that Marianne Williams is the only one that can do it. That was her name, right? Yeah, Marianne Williams.
Yeah, Marianne Williamson.
Yeah, Williamson.
Okay, Ryan. Fuck one, marry one, kill one. Marianne Williams. Logan, you can play too.
You always do this to
Marianne
me.
Williamson, Amy Klobuchar, and Tulsi Gabbard.
Marry
So I
Tulsi
have a
without
question.
question.
I have a question about this.
Okay.
So in fuck one, kill one, marry one,
Yep.
you still the one you marry, you still get to fuck later,
No.
right?
Nope.
No, because
Straight
you're
What?
married.
Once a year anniversary, like kind of ABCs, anniversaries, birthdays,
But-
Christmas.
Oh
No,
shit!
you
So
can
it's like
fuck
a
her
real
anytime you want.
marriage.
She's your property.
Yeah, no, real marriage. Yeah.
Oh.
You can fuck her whenever you want. She's your property.
No.
I
No,
thought it
that's
was
not
like
how
a
contract
fantasy
means.
marriage. I thought
You're
it
not-
was
no.
like the
like real
marriage.
marriage.
The
No.
marriage. You just get to fuck one for fun, and then you off one. I thought
Nope,
like we were
real.
talking.
No, like real marriage, like ABCs. That makes it more fun.
That makes it hard.
Like
bro.
I'm talking like purely excited about waking up for Christmas morning with kids and grandkids. Like,
Tulsi.
Okay.
I don't care if I don't get to touch it. Just seeing that beautiful babe in a fucking robe making me breakfast, I'd just lose it off of that. The hot Hawaiian mama. My God.
Does your wife make you breakfast, Ryan?
No, but Tulsi would.
Would she?
Yes.
She'd be out too early catching the surf.
Fuck, I'm making breakfast. I can see it. All right. Still, watching
Yeah,
her
no,
come in
okay.
as I have a plate of bacon ready is still good enough for me.
Okay.
So then I have to figure out who I would kill and fuck. Marianne Williamson, take her to town, and Amy
Yes.
Klobuchar gone. Easy.
That is the
That's probably
correct
the
answer.
best one you've done so far. That one was easy.
correct answers.
Oh,
Because Marianne.
oh my
She
God.
does stuff. Yeah.
She'd take me to
She
a
has
whole new
crystal
world.
energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd be doing some bath salts off her crack by the end of the night.
Dude, I don't need Joe Rogan and DMT. I've got Marianne Williamson.
All right.
What about
That's
you?
that.
Is it you
Oh,
agree? That's the exact one you would do, huh?
That's the exact answer, yeah. All right. Hillary
Fair
Clinton, Michelle Obama, Nancy Reagan.
Is Nancy Reagan hot?
I don't know.
I'll have to look her up.
Okay, hold on. What's Walls' wife? No, it's Peggy Flanagan. No, you're not Driver. You're not obsessed.
No, I think she's ugly. I do not think she's perfect like Driver does. No.
All right,
No,
okay.
No.
That's too easy.
I have a big nose, but I don't like her nose.
Okay, Jill Biden, Michelle Obama, and Hillary Clinton.
Oh no, that's real hard. No, I can't do
I'm
this.
marrying Hillary Clinton.
No. That's
Marrying Hillary.
Isn't that always how you go on Hillary? You just want to marry her.
100%. Waking up to Chelsea's grandkids on Christmas morning with a cup of coffee, your hot cocoa, and cookies for Santa that are half eaten. Yeah, every morning. Taking that. Okay. Probably taking Dr. Jill Biden to Pleasure Town. Let her examine me, teach me a few things. And yeah.
She's not a real doctor.
Dude, I want to put Nancy Reagan back in this because, I mean, I'm seeing photos of her probably in her later years.
Okay.
And
Okay, time out. Nancy Reagan started the war on drugs. Remember that.
oh no, she looks doable.
Nancy Reagan's Just Say No campaign was the start of the war on drugs, which caused a lot of institutional problems and a lot of statism.
But I'm naive and in love, Feldman.
Mhm.
All right,
Think
not
about it
as
carefully.
much. Not as much.
Gary, you know she doesn't have any influence over it, right?
Okay.
What?
She doesn't actually have any influence. It's not
Okay,
like
Michelle
she
Obama
actually made
changed
the
the
war.
lunch programs in 2008. If you think that Nancy Reagan didn't have
That's
any
true.
influence on the drug campaign in 1980, whatever,
No.
1985, 1986, then you're wrong because that's probably the same issue as school lunches back then.
Yeah, I can't argue.
The first lady doesn't do anything. They just say that to like make it seem like they're an empowered woman, but
Okay,
She's not
Logan,
the
do
president.
you have a
Nobody
public health
voted for
degree?
her.
She has
Logan, do you have a
power.
public health degree where you learned about the history of health promotion topics in America?
No, every single time there's a president, they give the first lady a little project to do to make it seem like
And
she
what do you think
matters,
the
but
Just
she
Say
doesn't
No
actually
campaign
do
was?
anything.
What do you think the Just Say
Do you
No
base that
campaign
off a
was?
house of cards or what?
It was just a little project that escalated into a full-on crime bill and drug war.
She didn't actually create any of the legislation behind that.
No, but she sparked it with her Just Say No campaign.
There was already a war on drugs that started with Richard Nixon, too.
Yeah, but her Just Say No campaign is historically known as the prime spark behind what eventually led to the 1992 crime bill. Yeah. Look it up. Google it. Do you want me to mail you a Bootlick over here, Logan? I'll send you one of my Red Wings. You can lick it. It'll taste just as good as that chicken.
I love this.
Honestly, if war on drugs is what it takes to put all those filthy hippies in jail, maybe it was worth it.
Like 33% of the major problems we're facing in America this year, the last 15 months, is because of the war on drugs. If that's how you justify it. Oh. All right. Oh boy. All right. Well, we're canceled. We're canceled.
I mean, who?
Logan is the reason we're gonna be canceled. That's for fucking sure.
Who actually went? Like, who did they actually lock up in jail? It was.
Who do you think?
It was the hippies.
No, it was not the hippies.
Coloreds.
Different group of people.
Oh my god, I'm dying.
Like, don't get me wrong, I hate hippies as much as the next person. But if there was one demographic that was majorly impacted by the war on drugs, it's not hippies.
Get over it. That was too good.
What the hell are the other guys doing on a freaking Friday night? They don't have time to jump on Babe's Basement.
I know. When I fucking message you guys, I'm like, it's Friday. They're not gonna want to do this. Nobody's gonna come on.
They don't have lives.
And I felt like you were reluctant. You're like, oh, I probably could, but I'm tired. But you're here.
Yeah, I'm enjoying every second of it.
Same, bro. I'm glad you're on here.
When I have people like marching outside my house tomorrow, this is the reason.
That means I have to get this up.
Yeah, with your luck these days.
You have high fucking expectations, bro. How many of these
Oh,
have
I'm
we done
sorry
and
that
I
I
didn't
expect
get
you
up?
I'm sorry, I just expect you to do your job. I'm sorry that that's too much of an ask in this crazy world.
I know. And I shouldn't expect anything out of it. I really shouldn't. I need to work for free. Like, I know. It's not. I should be able to get them up.
It's fine.
But part of it's laziness. The other part of it's a technology issue. But yes, I'm going to do this tonight. I will get it up if we stop this at a decent time. But I have to get up at 3:30. That's why I need to stop at like 10 or 11.
Do you think we can get the 3% organization to sponsor us?
Who the hell's that?
3%ers?
The 3%ers?
Yeah.
They're like the militia movement.
Yeah, like very alt-right.
Oh, God. You guys don't want this to go anywhere, do you?
They got money.
Who cares if they got money? We'll never go anywhere.
No, we should do an episode about the Franklin incident.
What is that?
Yeah.
Apparently, and I don't know a lot about it, so we'll read about it, but apparently it was like this incident in Nebraska where basically like elites, like Jeffrey Epstein types, they like fucked a bunch of children.
That's the base you want to attract.
All right. I mean, we could dive
It's
into
like a
that.
conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy.
Why don't you just ask Mitch to talk about Ruby Ridge?
That one too.
He'd go off.
These I don't know enough about. I would like to do an episode on these. We could.
Ruby Ridge?
I've heard it a million times. I don't know enough.
Oh.
I don't think that I could tell you what it is. I've heard it, but I don't know.
Or
What it is.
we should have Mitch talk about Fukushima too.
Yeah.
We should just get Richter going.
Well, we could have a nuclear episode. Yeah.
Well, you're due.
On the last podcast, remember when Richter was going off and like yelling?
That happens.
Every
That's
podcast.
par for the course. Just get Richter going.
He was excited.
It's too much fun not to.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's not on here right now.
He must be working. I know he works late.
Yeah, I didn't know he worked. He works well. He works in the bank, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like when I'm on the podcast, I never get worked up. I just like say random things like jokes.
You're
That's
here
'cause
and
you're
you
not
chime in.
It means you're not mad enough what's happening in the world, which means you're part of the spineless GOP problem.
Yeah, you're part of the problem. Why aren't you angry?
Yeah, look at Ryan.
I'm
Ryan's so
pissed.
pissed he had to yell on the internet.
I'm fucking
The
yelling on
reason
the
why I don't get angry is I'm in this world, but I'm not of this world.
I see. You're above everyone else.
What's your astrology sign?
Looking down on
I'm
all
not-
of us. It's a star.
I feel like I'm just a passerby. I'm just passing through this transient little world.
Let's see.
How much weed have you smoked today?
None.
Doesn't sound like it.
I had a glass of red wine.
That'll light you up.
Is that all it takes? I'll have whatever he's having. I want him to be floating above this planet. Just an observer, just chiming in from time to time, but it's not my problem because I'm not of this world.
I'm just a dynamic transient force, like moving through space or space moving through me.
Is he the ultimate social justice warrior? We just don't see it.
He might be
He's the
a sheep
ultimate
in wolf.
fucking hippie.
He's a sheep in wolf's clothing. And yes, I said that right.
You know, Buddhists are actually like
Oh,
very right
God.
wing.
Yeah, you know how many people the Crusaders killed? Why don't you just declare Palestine a country right now, Logan? Okay.
You guys are gonna kill me tonight, I swear.
Stein?
Whoa. How did we not
Are we
touch?
recording?
We are. No, we've been recording this whole time. Everything's been recorded.
I've been told this before.
I've been verifying when I say I'm checking. So we're good. We're good. And it. Yep. Wait. Yep. We're good. We're good.
All right.
You made me nervous for a second. So when Richter sends us this shit, honestly, I'm like, what the fuck? Jaw hits the floor. You say yawn. I say fuck you. What's a yawn?
Like, oh, big whoop. Like, oh, I've heard this before. Nothing's gonna fucking happen. Like,
Is this the more like I'm not surprised? I don't give a shit. I'm not mad.
It's the fact they could come out and admit everything they've been accused of for years, and nothing's gonna happen. Look at the people who are still blindly following Fauci. He said, if you don't believe in me, you don't believe in science. And people are like, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Like, they could come out and just admit to the most terrible atrocities, and no one would care. The media won't cover it. And if it was on Fox News, it'd be fake news, and it'd be, it does not matter. We've lost.
Yeah.
We've lost. Our last great hope died on November 3rd.
So you're saying
Great white hope.
No one's going to take this seriously? Is that what you're telling me?
No, they could 100% come out and admit all the wrongdoings.
Right.
And it's going to be the big lie. It's going to be fake news. It's going to be, it doesn't matter. We've lost. That's why I say yawn, because it's like, oh, tell me something relevant that actually is going to make a difference.
No.
So
you listen here, you son of a bitch. You're going to fucking start taking this shit seriously, all right? If I hear you go, oh, yawn, what? Oh. Dude, you're lucky I didn't actually try. This is me. This is a threat. you better fucking step back, okay?
You're too cheap to drive down from the.
Oh my god. White man with a knife and you're not fucking scared? Do you know how much power I have right now? You better start listening. You gotta take this seriously. I don't know what it's gonna take. What is it really gonna take, though, for people to actually hear this shit and be like, oh my god, this is an issue?
CNN to tell them it's an issue.
Fuck, you're right. We're screwed. We're screwed.
Yep. That's why I said yawn, because it doesn't matter, because as long as people are listening. Now, when the media finally turns on the right people, it's going to be interesting. When they realize that they got to get out before it's too late and they lose all credibility, then then we boog. Then it starts.
When do we boog?
When the media turns on the establishment left or on the progressive left.
Why is that when we boog?
Because
isn't that what we want?
That's when we're going to need to boog. That's when it becomes a necessity. Because when the media turns on the progressives and can no longer control them, then, and if they ever fucking get a leader that is competent that they can put in power, the world's in trouble.
Like who? What? Trigglypuff?
I don't know.
AOC?
Like take a competent AOC, like a competent one, like a good leader,
like one that knows what a garbage disposal is.
Yes.
Shit.
Like,
do you know about that?
No, I didn't hear about that, but I've heard about Abuela. So.
No, about her what?
Abuela, her grandma.
Oh yeah, her abuela. That's terrible. No, when she first got her position, when she first got voted in, and then she started to get, her money. She was making her money. She got her apartment in New York or whatever. I think that's what it was. She got her new place, and when she moved in, she's like, what is this monster in my sink? What is this? Like, oh my God. And posting on her Instagram, like genuinely questioning what the fuck is a garbage disposal. Like, I'd never seen one in her fucking life. I don't know what that says about somebody, but I'm just like, holy shit. This lady wants to change the planet and tell us what we need to have in our homes and how we need to update them and how we need to be more energy efficient and this and that. And she has no fucking idea what a garbage disposal is. All right. This looks real good. That's how it started. But yeah, I can't imagine if an actual competent AOC was here that knew what a fucking garbage disposal was. I'd actually think that she could do something.
It'd be scary because eventually, because here's the thing with the progressive base is they can go too far and it doesn't matter because they're doing it because they've won the culture war and they are doing it they're on the right side of history and there's enough progressives out there now that they still need them, or there's not enough out there right now that they still need the moderates. But eventually they will turn on the moderates and they'll find if they find a competent leader. And you have to remember the real people pulling the strings are more establishment than progressive. So eventually the media is going to turn on them. But I think at that point it'll be too late.
Yeah.
And then all these progressive policies come in and forget socialism. Like socialism's going to be the least of our problems. It's the Constitution will be put through the shredder at that point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's one of my biggest.
If you hurt someone's feelings, you'll get put in jail for 5 years for hurting someone's feelings, kind of deal.
Right, or if you misgender, use the wrong pronoun. I'm sorry that I called you Z when you're really a Zay or a Zim or a Zoo or a it's endless. I mean, the amount of noises that I can make with my mouth is almost endless. So. And then that you identify as one of those noises, and I got to make sure I get that fucking right. That's wild.
And then you give those people power,
right? And then if I'm wrong, I'm terrible and should be fined or imprisoned.
Yeah, not only you should you be, but you will.
Right. Not because right now I should be, but I'm not. But
you're protected by your First Amendment rights
until I'm not. No, I genuinely do see that as a legitimate fucking issue, and that does concern me. Like somewhere down the road, it's one of those slippery slope things. Whereas they slowly have all these things come out, and it probably all started with gay marriage, and here we are.
Amen. Slippery slope.
I have no issue with gay people, really. I don't.
Neither.
If you want to get married, go for it. I really don't think that that's big of an issue, but the way everything's played out and the way everything gets politicized and the way the media handles everything, it's like, yeah, that kind of was. They did that, and now here we are, where it's LGBTQI plus squared 3 to the square root of 5. I have no idea.
If you look at if the theory of logic and the informal fallacy of a slippery slope fallacy, and you had to apply that to political spectrum, that would be that, because transgenderism has always been around, but before gay marriage, were they encouraging doctors to turn 8-year-old boys into girls when they have no cause to?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I don't know if there's such thing as a competent progressive, but if they ever find one, and they ever get any real power, and they pack the court, and they pack the Senate, and they know how to win elections now. And
they could come up with a strong argument. Yeah.
Yeah, they know how to win. They know how to win elections. Mail-in voting, blah blah blah. So
yeah.
They can pack Congress and Senate, and they get 2/3 of the state, and they can pack the court. And the First Amendment now gets amended. They get rid of the Second Amendment. The third's irrelevant, but they start doing that. 4, 5, 6, all gone. Unreasonable search and seizure. You don't have a right to an attorney. All that stuff.
Yeah.
Really, I think that in 1919 is really where the country started going to shit.
Yeah.
That's when they allowed women to vote. But yeah,
I was gonna say 1913, but okay. Yep.
Well, that was the start. But yeah, the progressive movement started taking over in 1919. Look what they've done in 100 years. Give them another 100, we'll be dead for it. But God forbid, I hope so.
Oh God, who was that president again?
That 1913?
No, 1919.
Well, we have president. It wasn't Hoover, was it?
No, I thought Hoover for a second, but I don't think so.
That was more great. Woodrow Wilson.
As I was gonna say, was it fucking Woodrow Wilson? Yeah.
So when you Google his name, it shows up Woodrow Wilson, and the WhiteHouse.gov first description on there is Woodrow Wilson, a leader of the progressive movement.
Yep.
I just told you, progressives started getting power in 1919. And what does the first description of the White House page say?
And what we generally view him as the worst president in U.S. history until about now, right?
I mean, Jimmy Carter was pretty bad.
Worse than that, though? I don't know.
Taft wasn't great. I personally feel like the best president was William Henry Harrison.
Who the fuck is that?
The guy that died after 50 days in office when he got pneumonia on his inauguration speech.
Oh, okay. That poor bastard. So the guy that did least.
Yes, that is the goal of, besides Coolidge did the least.
I think the best was Trump.
It's hard to argue.
What did Trump actually do? Take the entertainment value away and the personality away and the hatred of the media. What did he actually I love him. Don't get me wrong. I voted for him. I will again, even if he's not running.
He made liberals angry.
What did he actually accomplish?
He made liberals angry.
We can do that by making a podcast. We don't have to run for president. What legislative action did he accomplish in his 4 years?
He deported a bunch of illegal aliens.
So did Obama. Do you think he's a great president? Obama probably deported more.
I actually like that about Obama. I give him credit for that.
Does it make him a great president? No.
No, but
I don't hate Obama.
I do.
What? I do? Fuck that guy.
He was young. He's young.
Oh God.
He wasn't there for Cash for Clunkers or any of that stuff. So
the reason I can't stand him is because I fucking supported him, and thank God I was too young to vote.
Were you old enough to vote?
I turned in March of
Mitch
the next
Driver
year.
wasn't.
I know.
Mitch Driver wasn't young enough. Or Mitch Driver was old enough to vote in 2020.
Because he's 2008. One of those September babies, and I was.
You know who Mitch Driver voted for?
Ron Paul.
Nobody.
Mitch Driver voted for Barack Obama.
Did he?
He did?
Yeah, in high school.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Why? I thought he was a libertarian.
That's the only. Because he didn't vote in 2014, so I don't know if he voted in 2012 or not. But the only president Mitchell Lee Driver might have ever voted for is Barack Obama.
And all he's had is regret ever since.
Oh, 100%.
Why did he vote for Obama?
2009 was a crazy year.
Well, I would have voted for him. We were all fucking brainwashed, young, 17, 18
I
years old.
Oh,
God, yeah. There were people like that, too, but...
It wasn't a much better option.
No, it wasn't.
Let's be honest.
No, it wasn't. And I didn't know anything. I knew nothing then.
If Twitter was around for Sarah Palin, could you imagine?
I can't.
Oh, by the way, her youngest daughter, who's 20.
Hot.
Yeah, look her up.
Yeah, I know.
I think I've shared before.
I can't remember her name, but yeah. Smoking.
Well, I know her middle daughter's Bristol.
Bristol, that's what I'm thinking of. Isn't she hot too?
Yeah, no, she's hot.
I mean, she
has some kids.
She just has good genes. Fucking Sarah Palin.
Piper's her name.
Piper. All right. I think Bristol.
Look her up on Instagram.
All right.
Look her up on Instagram.
Piper.
She's let's see here. Do we get pictures on Discord?
I could probably make them pop up.
Or do I have to exit live to get that?
I mean, you could share your screen, whatever's on your phone, if you want to do that. Otherwise, I could try to get it in here too. Just take me a second.
Let me see here. So if I click the mobile screen share as I try it out, it tells me to start broadcast. That's not going to mess with anything, is it?
No.
Okay, let's try it. 3, 2, 1. Can you guys see my stuff now? I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah, I just gotta... What are you pulling up here?
That's her daughter.
You're gonna get us canceled.
It's her daughter.
Damn, bro.
Her Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, she's got some genetics.
Yeah. I mean, no arguments here. I also feel like I'm too easy, though. I mean, it's not like I find every single girl attractive, but I'm just attracted to women. So if she looks like a woman,
You're also married, so that doesn't help the cause.
That's not that big of a factor. It's just that there's not any real women anymore, man.
That's bigoted and some sort of phobic.
I don't give a shit. They're less and less these days. So it's nice to see, hey, she's good looking. If she comes out as a lesbian, I'm going to fucking cry. But whatever.
Oh, hold on.
We don't need more lesbians in the world.
No, it's kind of funny. It's not that.
Oh, now what? What do we got?
Find her Halloween picture.
Oh, no.
So, this is her right there, right?
Yep.
And the caption is, want to see some real speed? If you look right there on the comments, Sarah Palin 97 Piper.
Is that her actual mom's account right there?
Yeah, that is. It's verified, as you can see.
Oh, that's too good. That's too
all right. Am I still sharing or no?
No, you're not.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good conservative mother right there.
That's too funny. Oh my god. Dude, I'm gonna record like what happens to my screen here sometimes and like what it looks like over here, even though it doesn't actually look like this in the recording. Like we end up looking possessed. I don't even know if my phone is gonna capture it because it happens so fast, like the flickering. But it looks like in those movies where like a ghost like head twitches and like shifts aside, like that's the way it's like recording us. It's fucking eerie.
Oof.
But it's not in the actual recording. Anyways, how much farther do we want to go with this?
I don't know. We've been on for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, almost. Actually, 2.5. Yeah, 7:30.
So,
I've got my fucking shit out there about Fauci. I would have loved to dive more into what fucking Richter was posting there about like a third of Chinese fucking students are spies. Like, what the fuck? If it's true, that's fucking wild. Do I necessarily believe it? Not really.
yeah, I have a hard time with that one, to be honest, too.
That one's fucking far out, which then makes me question the rest of it. So, I don't know. It would be really nice to think that there was actually somebody from China that came out and is going to leak everything, but that just seems like another one of those QAnon hopeful thinking sort of things that'll never happen.
Yeah, like it's like the whole Trump's going to be back in office, like stuff that I keep hearing. Yeah, like as much as I'd love it, and I just want him back on Twitter.
Right.
Like just Twitter's not the same, but like that's such QAnon bullshit.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if there's legally a way that he could get back into office. I think like at the most extreme case scenario is there'd be a military occupation and martial law, and the states would essentially govern themselves without a central body until like a certain point, and somebody can be elected. Because technically, I think the argument is that even if Biden did. So what would happen if, what I've heard, now I don't know if I believe this because this is just on the internet, if Biden is found to have massive fraud, he would be removed from office, and I think every politician that won that there is belief of fraud in from like Senate, Congress, blah, 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 would also lose their seat, would go into a state of martial law, and like I said, the military would eventually take over, and the states would govern themselves until somebody could be appointed. But just because Biden didn't necessarily win doesn't mean Trump did, is kind of the argument. Like, there's no way unless you can prove, because it's all certified already. I don't know. It's very complicated, and I don't think that there's actually like a written out like in the Constitution procedure for massive fraud.
It's something that we've never done before. There really aren't any sort of guidelines for this. So I think we should really follow the trend of 2020 and just fucking go for it and see what happens.
As in put the Don back in?
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if we've never done this before and there really isn't any sort of guidelines to follow. I mean, it's like the same thing with COVID. We have no fucking idea what we're doing or how to respond to it or what we should do in this sort of a situation. So we might as well go all in, shut down the entire economy, whatever. Let's just go into full out martial law. Let's remove some people. Let's get Biden out of there and just put Trump in. I mean, I feel like that fits with the theme of 2020. Let's take it to the extreme without any sort of idea of how the fuck to do it.
Can Fauci run it?
Absolutely. I think that he should be the spokesperson.
Oh, why not just make him president?
Dude, that's probably the best thing you've said all night. There actually is a Fauci for President website. I fucking shit you not. I don't know how I came up. Dude, I somehow came across that. Dude, because
I believe it.
Because I was trying to find the quote where Fauci said, like, this president is going to face this sort. So I think I just Googled, like, Fauci and president. And then I get a page of, yeah, here it is. Anthony Fauci for president. Dr. Anthony Fauci. Please don't. No fucking joke.
Oh, I'd move to Canada.
And it says hashtag write him in. So I don't think he's actually running, but somebody wants him there.
I'd move to Canada.
Oh, in a heartbeat. In a fucking heartbeat, bro.
Like, at least their president wears blackface. Like,
Prime Minister.
what do you think Ralph Northam's up to these days?
Fuck, I don't know. I know the name. Remind me.
He's the governor of Virginia that got caught either.
Oh, the other blackface guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gone. Living
Well,
his
it was
life.
either they couldn't verify if it was him in the blackface or the KKK outfit.
That's right.
But I mean, really, there's
He
not
knew.
there's not really a winning solution there.
No,
Hell, the
really isn't.
KKK outfit might be better.
Well, was he a Democrat?
Well, if he wears a KKK outfit and he's a Democrat, Joe Biden will probably speak at his funeral. So
I think, yeah, he was probably in that one.
all
That's my
right,
guess.
I think we should wrap it up. Once again, nothing we mentioned today was financial advice. We
recommend
don't
nothing.
mean what we say because it's just a podcast.
It's just a podcast.
And liberals can go fuck themselves. DeSantis 2024, baby.
Absolutely. It's just a podcast. Anything, Logan?
I believe that Trump was only the precursor, and something much greater is on the horizon.
I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful. Maybe it is DeSantis. Could be. That's going to be one of our
DeSantis,
subjects.
Kansas Owens.
That would be something.
It's the dawn of a new American republic.
Don, spelt D-O-N.
DAW. Oh, I see.
I gotta go. American First Party 2024. Let's go. See you, boys.
Hell yeah. Later, dude.
Bye.
Have a good night, guys.